looks like we are live. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to another TTV fan PSN community game night, aka what ends first, the game night or my computer updates. So, I am Prentice1215, joined as always by Loca-Cola.
Hello, I'm here again.
And for the first time in a long while, how do you prefer it be said? I Lewis, Ill Lewis?
I Lewis.
I Lewis, okay.
The I stands for my first name.
So usually I just go ahead and call you guys, I just go ahead and call you Lewis, just to make it a little easier. So, let's see here. I am going to post this in the patron chat.
I guess.
Hey, Overwatch nerds. We be streaming your favorite game. Because in the TTV Discord patron chat, Overwatch is their favorite game, but recently the discussion has been a little bit more centered around Warframe, but it's still pretty much just, you know, a big Overwatch fan club. And anytime someone says, "Hey, did anyone here like Rainbow Six?" Overwatch, 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 blah blah blah, blah. It gets drowned out by the Overwatch talk. So. It's a free weekend. We are playing Overwatch. I was discussing with Lewis and Loca a little while ago. I have not played Overwatch in just about a year. It was last September last time I played Overwatch. So Doomfist, Bridget, Moira, and Wrecking Ball did not exist when I played last. So it's been kind of interesting adapting to the style of play that they are and their roles. So so we'll see if
over the meta.
Oh, actually, I should probably invite you guys. So that way, here we go. I was about to find us a match without having to invite you into a group. So that doesn't exactly work very well. So you guys have invites. So before we get started here, I will preface that I am now on school Wi-Fi. I am at my house, so I'm doing all of this off the college Wi-Fi, which surprisingly is working pretty well. I don't know if they upgraded their Wi-Fi or something over the summer, because previously I've had to use like the data on my phone to play online games of a certain caliber, but this past week, I played a little bit of Battlefront 2 on stream for about 15 minutes to see if the streaming here is even capable, and it actually ran pretty well, much to my surprise. And that's
a test stream.
And that's a game that. Say what, Lewis?
I think I remember seeing you guys do a test stream. Was that? Am I wrong?
Yeah, that it was. But the thing about that was just me. I was not in a party. So even though I was playing a larger multiplayer game that does, I don't know the specifics, that may or may not take more internet to work, I was not hosting a party and hosting people in a squad in the game and streaming at the same time. So everything seems to be holding up pretty well so far. So hopefully it will from here on out, and we may be picking up 2 more players as we go along, but for now I think we can go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and kick things off and play a little bit. So I guess Lewis, you're the seasoned Overwatch veteran. What when you hit play, what do you hit? Do you usually just hit quick play? Is that what people usually do?
If you want to play normal Overwatch, then yeah, quick play.
Okay.
Arcade has a bunch of stuff going on. The summer event. You can play Lucio Ball. You've played that before.
Okay.
Yeah, we should maybe do that, even though I hate Lucio Ball.
We're gonna give it a try here in a few minutes.
Favorites of those.
So
also Capture the Flag and Mystery Heroes.
Huh.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Bumble Gravy in the chat.
Yes, Fortnite does. Well, see, we kind of, this was kind of our topic of discussion last stream, because last time we streamed, which was about a week ago, Rainbow Six Siege was having a free weekend that was specifically themed around trying to get people to stop playing battle royale games. So we kind of discussed this last time, but Overwatch isn't an overall terrible game. I think it's fine for, like you play it for maybe an hour and a half at most, listen to a podcast while you do so, just kind of pick it up, put it back down, leave it for a couple days, come back to it. It's a fine every now and then game, but it's not something I can play for hours and hours on end, and I don't actually understand how people can, but obviously people do, because you see those Twitch streamers where that's all they do, and they make tens of thousands of dollars a week just playing Fortnite, and it's like, okay, I wish I could do this, but I can't. So anyway, so of course the topic of today, as sort of kind of put in the title of this stream, is maybe Overwatch doesn't suck after all. Because I've kind of been, as I was saying, is that there's a lot of talk about Overwatch in the patron chat, and I've kind of been sick of it, because I'm not a big fan of Overwatch, with the exceptions of when we've had these game nights, where I can actually play with people and talk to them, as we're doing now. I have found the game incredibly boring. It's like, okay.
Really?
So, yes, really. So, like, right now, it's like, okay, we're going to this objective, and we're going to stand on it, and maybe if we don't stand on it for long enough, then we lose, and then we shoot people in the process and rinse and repeat. It's very, very simple. Oh, I've been trapped. What's going on? I'm trapped. That must be a new meta thing I'm not aware of. So,
the Junkrat trap? No, it's always been there.
No, I don't know what it was. If it was a Junkrat trap, I was just rolling along, and all of a sudden I'm trapped. So,
To go on.
yeah. So, I've always found Overwatch to be very boring, with the exception of when I'm playing with people that I can talk to and have fun discussions with. But then again, at the same time, it's like, it's not really Overwatch I'm finding enjoyable. It's the discussion I'm having with people, because if you go to our community highlights playlist here on my channel, you will find Laser Chainsaw versus the Sharknado, which is the first time we played Overwatch as a group, and honestly, that's one of the funniest things. That's still one of my favorite. That's still one of my favorite game nights we did, because it was just us talking about Sharknado essentially, and how crazy that series is. And as someone who had never seen Sharknado, hearing the things that happened in Sharknado, I'm like, this is ridiculous and hilarious at the same time. So I really enjoyed that. I didn't essentially enjoy the gameplay, but I enjoyed the experience because I had people to talk to. So it's like, I didn't really enjoy the game, because we could have been playing solitaire and had the exact same discussion, and I probably would have enjoyed it just about as much. So that's kind of the thing with Overwatch with me. But now I come back to the game after almost a year of having played it, having not played it. Last time I picked it up was September of 2017, and while I enjoyed that game night, after it was over, my experience with Overwatch was kind of soured, because I tried playing it a little bit on my own and without the group, and I just really did not enjoy myself. I found it to be very repetitive and boring, and and stuff like that. And then there was also personal stuff going on at the time that I was just kind of in a foul mood in general, so maybe that kind of fed into it a bit. So I was just kind of like, this is not a good game. I don't see why people enjoy this. Maybe it's because it is a game that's popular to be played with friends, and that's why people enjoy it, and they're not actually enjoying the game. They're just enjoying playing with their buddies. But that being said, I then came back very recently and started playing it, and then I realized that there's this new hero called Wrecking Ball, who I'm playing as now, who is a hamster in a mech suit that's got machine guns, and as you can kind of see, I tried to do it didn't work out so well. He can then turn into essentially what is a wrecking ball, hence his name, and swing around and punch people off of cliffs, and it's not exactly punching, but hit people off of cliffs and do other things like that. And this character should have, like there we go, that's a fine example, people, of what you're supposed to do with this character. So it's like, where was this character the entire time? I kind of enjoyed Junkrat back in the day when I was first trying the game out back in in the beta in 2016. But he kind of got old fast. And oh boy, oh, okay, it just skipped a kill cam entirely, so I thought the internet had stopped working. Never mind. So, but he kind of got old fast, and then I kind of got into Symmetra, or not Symmetra. What's her name? Orisa. I kind of got into playing her a bit, and she was good. I enjoyed playing her, but then she kind of got old. It was kind of the same thing with Junkrat. He's got old. Orisa's gotten old. Who's right here in front of me? Die, whatever you are. And then that's a Tire of Doom. And then now it's just. And then I tried a couple of different heroes and just didn't really do anything. I wasn't enjoying playing them, so I just kind of got in my head, this is bad. But now this Wrecking Ball character is like, I am in love with this gameplay because it seems to change things up, in my opinion, because you can essentially what he is for those that have. That know this reference, which is kind of dated at this point. Basically what he's Dr. Hamsterville from Lilo and Stitch the series in a Droideka mech. That's essentially what this character is. And I love that. So when he can curl up into a ball, he's much faster than other characters are. And because of that, the gameplay seems like it's a little more fast-paced, because one of my criticisms about the game is that I find this to be very slow and boring. But now I actually feel like there's some speed to it that I enjoy with actually rolling around and then just wrecking people all over the place.
I mean, I don't know where to start, but what you're saying about the characters getting boring, I think most people find heroes, certain heroes to practice and main. They just keep getting better at them as time goes on, so they can just have more fun as they play. And also, what else was there? Oh yeah, like Mumble Gravy says in the chat, if you don't like the normal pace of the games, you can play Arcade, which has a bunch of different game modes every week or day. What else is there? Shoot. I mean, I get it's not a game for everyone, but some people consider the game to be really fast paced and stuff, and crazy. To each their own.
See, look, I'm just rolling along here. I'm way ahead of the pack. I'm so much faster than all these other. Oh wait, maybe I'm ahead of the pack because no one came with me. I guess that could be it. But I'm just a big ball of fun here. It's like that. I like, and also another thing to bring up when talking about Wrecking Ball, he's adorable. In the little spawn screen there, he had a little sneeze, and because he's a little hamster, it's just the cutest thing ever. It's so I get a character that's a fairly powerful character that can do things like what I'm about to do right now. It's all right, let's. Oh. Well, if you didn't see that on the stream, for those of you playing with me, but you probably saw the kill cams, I just got annihilated. I guess I found one of the counters to Wrecking Ball is in the fact that you tried to slam into Bridget's shield. That doesn't exactly work.
No, not at all.
So I just
Oh,
found that
that's
out the hard
weird.
way. Ow.
Also, being alone against 6 people kind of hurts.
Yeah.
You're
Ow.
like right
Ow.
at their spawn.
Ow. Ah. That didn't...
Are they?
So, so obviously, Lewis, you're a big fan of the game, but
Too much.
and so have you owned it since launch?
Yeah, like within the first few days.
Okay, so yeah, you're a big fan of the game. You've owned it since launch, which is a little over 2 years at this point, and you really enjoy it. Loka, what's your stance on them their Overwatches?
I think, well,
Oh my.
the thing is, I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, but also leaning closer to what Brent has said about. I'm not sure I would say this game is boring, but at the well, I guess I'm just gonna start at the beginning. I think I played maybe 1 or maybe 2 free weekends. I don't remember exactly, but I remember not really caring that much about the game when it came out, and then I tried for that crazy Sharknado weekend, or whatever we're gonna call it, and I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. I think I'm gonna pick this up if it ever drops down in to a reasonable price, which it did at some point, although I don't remember at how much. And I played I haven't really played it too much. I play it like a little bit sometimes. Like I think usually it's been around events for some reason. I'm not sure. But the thing is, like, I've had the most fun when I've been playing for the game nights. But then when I played by myself, I haven't really enjoyed it as much. And wow,
Any reason why?
I was literally flying half across the map. But the thing is, I can't really put my finger on what it is that makes me not... I don't know, like, I enjoy the game whenever I play it, but it's similar to Fortnite, not in that it's the same games, obviously they're not, but it's more that I can play those for a little while, and then I usually like an hour or maybe 2 at a time, and then I usually get tired or bored or something to that effect, and can't really play any of it more. And but I can't exactly put my finger on what my issue with this game in the case is.
Bastion, that's what's wrong with the game.
Among other things.
We worked a lot.
Whoa!
Anyway,
Flying again.
Why did Mercy revive me? This is the worst place to be revived.
I thought you'd leave.
I was hoping to use my ultimate, but no, I got killed immediately.
I'm trying to figure out like what brings me back to it, like what you guys aren't feeling, but I guess because we play a lot of competitive mode, and I just want to keep playing and getting better. I don't know. Man.
See, this match right here. This match right here is something that I have not felt in Overwatch before, and I think that has to do with the character I'm playing. And that because we just got trounced. We got absolutely wrecked by this team that just basically used us as a carpet. We were a doormat. They just walked right over us. But I still found that fun because there was a moment where I didn't telegraph it because I was discussing things with you guys. Oh, my computer's doing something. Because you were speaking, Lewis, and I didn't want to interrupt. But I managed to hit my grappling hook into the side of the building, turned into a wrecking ball, and flew around this building and knocked like 5 of the 6 people on the payload back 15 feet. And then kind of swung around and hit the 6th person back. That's awesome! That was fun! I was like, for the first time playing this game, I can actually say, oh, that was fun. I mean, there have been moments in past game nights where it's like, okay, there's maybe a little something resembling fun, where we ended up just getting really into it, and we kept an objective held down or something like that. But it's like oh, see the cute little sneeze. So, but that right there, where I was swinging around as a wrecking ball, just bonking into people and making them fly backward, I had a smile on my face doing that. This game has never brought a smile to my face before. It's like it's always been discussion during gameplay. It's like with the Sharknado stuff. It's like that's what's made me smile while playing this game. For the first time since this free weekend has started, I've actually gone, huh? This is actually fun to play. It's like look at me go on stream right now. I'm just a big old wrecking ball flying around, and it's like anyone tries to come here through this point, I'm just gonna wham right into them. They're gonna go flying back, and then I can unleash. And I mean, that's awesome. That's a sense of speed and movement I've been needing from this game to actually find it fun, which is interesting because a game doesn't have to be fast-paced for me to enjoy it. I think my favorite game to play right now is Rainbow Six Siege, and that is a slow, methodical game where every movement you make has to be calculated and measured, and you really have to think about what you're doing while you're playing that. Oh, I can't get the momentum. Here we go. Oh, yeah. See, that's awesome. Oh, yeah.
I can kind of see what you're saying, but...
Oh! Time to fall back.
I think a reason that you're not having fun with it is because, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but there's, like, kind of a skill cap to the heroes. So if you want to have, like, some crazy moment, like, killing people with, like, a ninja sword or shooting at people in a tank, you gotta get pretty skilled at that hero and stuff. And, yeah, it's just, like, a lot of practice and time you have to put into that. So, someone who's only played, like, a few times like you might not be able to do, like, everything that each hero can do, like, skillfully. I'm not saying you're bad, you're actually pretty good, but, like, yeah.
Well, see, and I think, and I get what you're saying, but hey, get out of here, purple lady, whose name I can't remember at the moment. See, and so I see what you're saying, but I think that brings me to what I believe to be Overwatch's... Oh, she's back. And this brings me to what I believe Overwatch's biggest problem is. And that is that it's too dang expensive. 2 years on, and this game is still $60 in store. You can't find a used copy of this game anywhere for maybe less than $50. And then a new copy of like the vanilla game that came out in May of 2016, you can't find that for any less than 50. I mean, it's just insanely expensive to buy this game. So and it's like, and just from the free weekend, and it's like, what really comes in this package? Okay, a admittedly robust selection of characters to choose from, but it only comes with like 3 game modes and some specialty modes that come around every now and then in the form of arcade. That's not really a lot for a $60 package. Plus all the microtransactions involved if you want to get loot stuff to make your characters appear different stuff. It's like stuff. So is there a way to earn currency to buy skins through like progression? Like you level up to like let's say you get to level 50. Do you then get like 200 coins or something to use? So like, how does that work?
No, every time you level up, you get a loot box.
Right.
And if you get duplicate items, you get a certain amount of currency.
Okay.
And or you get currency in general, and that'll just add up until you get enough for skins and stuff.
So I don't know if it works slightly different because the version of the game I'm playing is a free-to-play model, or if if it's just slow in general. But I've opened a couple loot boxes in my during my time with this game, and I haven't exactly gotten much coin. And because and maybe it's because again I've maybe sunk 15 hours max into this game through like the 3 different game nights I've played on this game. Admittedly, as a community, we have played many more game nights than 3. It's been like this is like our 6th or 7th at this point, but I've not been present for all of them because of things that happen. It's like, well, I've got a paper to write. I can't play Overwatch. It's like if there's any other game, maybe I'd take time to write my paper. But it's like it's Overwatch. I don't care. I'll write my. Oh, about to sneeze. Never mind. It's not going to happen. I'm going to write my paper instead of wasting my time on Overwatch. So I have missed game nights because of that. But so I haven't actually sunk much time into the game, admittedly. But through the time I have put into the game, I've only managed to acquire 250 coins, which doesn't seem like a lot. Is that a lot for the short amount of time I've played? Or
it's not really. You can
not
buy,
really.
Like, one's like pretty good skin. My amount like right now after 2 years of playing is like somewhere in the 9,000s.
Oh wow.
But like I play a lot, so I can just unlock everything as I go.
Right.
I don't actually use it to buy anything, and that's what. You're not really supposed to use the currency or coins at all. You're just supposed to keep on playing and get the skins as you go, and maybe... I usually like save coins for event stuff that comes out. Like, they're not a big part of getting the skins. You just have to keep on playing and leveling up, and again, I'm not trying to be rude, but level 14 isn't too high by like most people's standards for playing the game.
Level 14 is not high given any game standards, and I understand that completely. I know I'm a very low level because, like I said, I have not played this game very much.
Yeah. So
I mean, actually, I'm actually surprised that I'm level 14 because because one thing that actually does impress me about these free weekends is that the application does actually save your progress that you make during the free weekend, and then that'll transition over to the game should you choose to buy it. So I'm level 14 or whatever right now because not because of the time I've sunk in during this game night, but because of most of the time I've sunk in previous game nights. So that is actually a nice thing that I appreciate, because otherwise I wouldn't have any cosmetics or anything right now. So I can kind of see how things are unlocked and stuff, but like you said, I have not spent much time in this game, so my opinions are somewhat skewed toward having. I was like, well, what do I have having not spent much time in this game? So
yeah. Shoot. I guess it's like kind of a Blizzard thing in general to like have to invest like a large amount of time into a game. Like like with World of Warcraft and League of Legends, like all by Blizzard. Yeah.
That's certainly a thing.
Yeah, but like I'm not saying that's nothing that as an excuse. It kind of makes it worse that it's in a lot of their games, but that's all I have to say.
so correct me if I'm wrong, but there are microtransactions in this game. Yes, you can go to the PlayStation Store and buy a certain amount of coins, and then use those certain amount of real-world money-bought coins to then buy things in the game. Right?
No, not. Well, there is DLC, but you know the loot boxes. You can only buy those. You can't buy currency at all.
You can't buy. Okay, so they really just cut out the middleman. It's like you can buy a certain amount of loot boxes. Got it. I knew there was some sort of system. I just assumed that it was a system of you buy loot boxes using coins, and so then you would go to the PlayStation Store and buy the coins to buy the loot boxes. But no, you just straight up buy the loot boxes. Okay. Roadhog.
No, you can. Most people usually just level up to get the loot boxes, or get them through arcade mode. Yeah, like not many people like buy loot boxes unless they're desperate to get a skin or something. Like it's going away soon, so.
Right, yeah. But whenever that comes along, then they must see a big influx of people then buying skins and stuff, to where it's still they can still. Oh man, I didn't use my ult. Then they still make a pretty penny off of some people buying loot boxes and stuff. So with that system and all the different skins you can get, and again, maybe it's just because, well, even without that and the progression and everything, I still think $60. I still think that $60 for this game is a steep asking price. After playing the beta in May of 2016, before the game even came out, I thought $60 as an asking price was steep then. So and that was when the game was first coming out, but I just kind of was like, the game is just coming out. I kind of understand them charging 60, even though I don't think it's worth 60. But Reinhardt. But I mean, now, 2 years on, to still be asking $60 for it, I think is just it's ridiculous at this point. It's like there's no campaign here. There's just these couple multiplayer modes to. Yeah, Reinhardt got revived. Oh, I'm stunned. Oh, see, yep, I'm loving that. I just whacked those guys with my wrecking ball. Oh, come on, move over to where I can hit. Yep. Hi, Reinhardt. Oh, see ya, Lucio. Oh, yes! See, that is so awesome. It's like I'm just ramming right into the. Aw, Bastion got me. Oh well, but still, that was fun. That was cool. It's like, but that one little hey, that was fun. That was cool. Is not worth $60. And it's like I'll see them. I have seen them already. People going, but Prentice, it's half off right now. It's like why don't you get it for you can get it for like $15. And it's like it's cheap. It's like no, I can't, because I'm not a big old nerd that plays my video games on a PC. I play my video games on a console like a real gamer. I'm joking, of course. I'm not trying to. I'm not purposely being inflammatory. I'm joking about that. It's like PC players have just as much right to play their games there as they do on console. If you want to spend however much money on your PC so you can play a video game and then do your taxes afterward, hey, more power to you. I do understand the allure of playing a video game and then just tapping a few buttons to then switch over to your web browser and then watching YouTube afterward or something like that. I understand why some people might find that more enjoyable than having to buy a $400 box and walk over to a TV or whatever all the other reasons. So I like playing on console. It's probably because it's I've always been a story-driven person, so I think consoles have the better video games because it's like, well, you don't really hear much about this PC exclusive title that has a groundbreaking story, except for maybe cases like Half-Life. Maybe. Wow, we clutched that. They were on 99. Now we're on, and we got it to 100.
Whoa.
So it's like you buy a PlayStation 4, you have access to 5 Uncharted games, The Last of Us, the upcoming Last of Us sequel, Marvel's Spider-Man, which comes out in like a week and a half at this point, so the hype is starting to get real, folks. Not to mention a slew of PS2 classics available on the PS Store. It's like Ratchet and Clank PS4. You can use the PlayStation Now service that I've never used, so I don't know if it actually works or not. Very well. It probably depends on your internet connectivity. And you can use PS Now to. Oh no, Smeety Flavor in chat, having ascended to the PC Master Race. I have been wondering where you've been, buddy. It's like, hi, Smeety.
Oh.
It's been a long while. We've been missing you. I was wondering if you'd come out to play with us here since it's Overwatch, and I know you weren't a big fan of some of the other games we've been playing lately. So that sad to see you go, but good to see you in chat. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Suddenly everything makes sense.
Yeah. So Smeety Flavor, of course, is the person that kind of started the Sharknado conversation and told us about the laser chainsaw versus the Sharknado and the lady giving birth inside a shark, and all the absurdity involved with that. I mean, it's just giggle-inducing. It's like
there, but I thought I was there, but I'm not sure anymore.
No, it was just Locust Meeting and I. You weren't there for that one. At least not as much as I can remember anyway. I was like, maybe you joined us for a little bit, but that first time we played Overwatch, I don't think you were there. But that was just that was the best. So
yeah, I only remember me, Prentice, and Smeety being there, but I could also be wrong. But that's just.
I don't know. We can go back and watch the video afterward.
Yeah.
I probably will.
So anyway, so it's like I think console gaming is better because of. Yeah, see, I mean, look at me. I'm just going around. Anyone tries to get anywhere near me, I'm hit. Anywhere near that's objective, I'm whacking them off. So anyway. So I totally understand why people might like PC, but I think console gaming is the better place to be of the story-driven exclusives like The Last of Us or Uncharted and stuff like that. So it's like PlayStation specifically, I think is the best place to play because of those games. Although I do fully admit that Xbox Live is probably a better service because, well, you can change your name on Xbox Live. So. Oh my gosh, I'm just continuously going around in a circle. I mean,
I didn't know you could do that.
I mean, look at me.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't played this since. What the heck is this?
Oh, this is just awesome. And see, some people do prefer a mouse and keyboard and how that feels to a regular controller. I completely understand. But I think console's better. So, I eliminated a sentry turret. So it's like, but the one problem that comes with being a console player in this case though, is that when it comes to Overwatch, you're very limited in the editions of the game you can buy. You have to buy it physically from a store. For $50 to $60, or you can buy it online for $60. And
wait, are we talking about consoles or
yes,
PC?
yeah, we're talking about. Aw, man, we're talking about consoles right now. You can buy it physically in a store for for $50 to $60, or you can buy it digitally on the PlayStation Store for $60. Right now, discounted 50% off. To $30. Even $30, I feel like it is asking way too much for this game. It's like this is a $15 to now this should be a free game type game, in my opinion, just based on the content that's here and the fact that there's no campaign or story mode. Because I've been very critical. But the thing with the options on PC, the price points for what I've seen, they're at least $5 to $10 cheaper than the console versions I've seen. Because I looked it up the other day, and it's like there is a $5 to $10 difference in pricing for the PC version compared to the PS4 version, from what I've seen. So, I
guess we have to praise Lord Gaben for that.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, I have been very critical of Overwatch in the past because of its up until right now, where I'm just I killed someone. I just killed someone as a wrecking ball going around in circle. I killed someone else. Oh, I'm down. But I've been very critical of the gameplay in the past. Oh, we need to get on that point. I've been very critical of the gameplay in the past, finding it boring up until right now. But the lore, I think it's probably cheaper, Smeedy, because usually you don't have to worry about the third party involved, because it's like when you buy a physical version of a video game at GameStop. Let's say it's I'm going to make up a random video game title right here. Call of Duty Modern Black Ops 4. Let's say that a cut of that $60 game of Call of Duty Modern Black Ops 4 has to go to Activision. It has to go to Activision. Cut of that has to go to GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart, or whoever is selling the game physically. And then another cut of that has to... Oh, look at what a surprise. Bastion got play of the game. And then another cut of that has to go to PlayStation because that's the version of the game you have bought. Where with PC gaming, you can buy it digital. And because you're buying it digitally, you don't have to worry about the extra costs of, well, we gotta print this on a disc, and then we gotta print the case, and we gotta make the box art for the case, and then we gotta slap it in a store. It's like, well, you load up Steam on your computer, you hit the buy button, you put in all your credit card information that may or may not end up being stolen in the future, and then you end up buying Half-Life 45 or whatever. Again, making up game titles, yeah, because like the Half-Life series is ever going to get to number 45 when it's taken them almost 15 years to get to 3, and it's still not here. Right. Buying it digitally, you don't have to worry about some of those problems, and because it's like, all right, here's the 3 gaming PCs you can buy. It's like because with consoles, there's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and in the past there's been Sega. And basically everyone else and their mother who's tried. It's like Quaker Oats tried to make video games back in the day. Everyone tried to make video games back in the day. So, so with PC, the companies are so varied. Either not as much of a cut of said video game is going to said PC gaming maker peoples, or there's just too many of them that you can't really give them that much of a cut, so to where more is going just going straight to the people that make the game, to where they can ask a cheaper price for it because they're not having to share those profits. So that's probably why they're cheaper. So that's why you see Overwatch $5 to $10 cheaper on PC than you do on console. But $30 for this game on console, it's ridiculous. It's absolute. It's robbery. It's like I refuse. I put my foot down. I refuse to pay $30 for a video game that doesn't have a story mode but has some fantastic lore. It's like all of those animated shorts that have come out. Those are awesome. I want to learn more about these characters. This is a really interesting world. And it's like, Hammond the hamster that rolls around in a wrecking ball and is trying to kill Lucio right here, even though they shouldn't be trying to kill each other because they're both good guys. And that's another problem I think there is with the game, is that it has lore, but it doesn't actually do anything with it. It's like, oh, these two people are good guys. Let's have them kill each other. It's like, okay, whatever. But there's not exactly a reason for it. It's just a video game. It's like, well, if you just wanted these people to kill each other, then you shouldn't have invented lore. But the lore they did invent is really cool. So yeah, whatever. So a game without a campaign that has all this interesting lore, I think this lore is wasted on a video game. Which, moving us into our really quick, I think the Overwatch game that gets more enjoyable if you take it seriously and taking, it's not. That's interesting. That's an interesting comment. It's not a very casual game.
Yeah, that could actually
because with all my complaints about the game, with all my complaints about the game, I do completely understand why it is. Oh, enemy Hammond! It's another me. Get out of here, doppelganger! Oh, he killed me. Hamster side. But I understand why it's such a enjoyable game to be played competitively, and why people enjoy watching it competitively. While I've been very I'm such a hypocrite when it comes to Overwatch. I'm like, oh, this is a terrible game, but at the same time, it's an awesome game because the lore is cool and it's actually kind of bringing gamers to. Oh, goodbye, Tracer. Get wrecking balled. But yeah.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, get wrecked, exactly. Oh, and revenge on that more hamster side. It's like, it's got some cool lore. I don't like the gameplay mechanics, but man, has it brought gamers as a community together because now we've kind of been able to rally behind it as, look, video games can be sports because look, we've got all these teams and they're making money and it's on ESPN alongside CS:GO and Halo and stuff like that. So it's like, as a movement and as a franchise with lore, I really like Overwatch. It's just that, I would rather this be a Netflix show. So shifting from that is that rumor has it, and this will be our next topic of discussion here. Rumor has it that Overwatch is getting a Netflix TV show because recently Activision and Blizzard signed a big some sort of deal with a bunch of other companies to make different products, merch, and stuff like that. Because I haven't really seen Overwatch TV shirts. I have not exactly seen Overwatch T-shirts. I don't exactly go walking down the street and see the great big old logo plastered on a T-shirt or Tracer high-fiving a cartoony version of Winston. I don't see that. So I think that's part of what this deal was. It's like this, we're going to make some actual like T-shirts and stuff. And on top of that, it also allows for, as Smeedy is putting all caps in the chat, Overwatch Lego, which TTV, the thing we're a fan community of, they have gone ballistic over this fact that we're getting Overwatch Lego. I thought it was just like, oh, they've signed this deal, and so people hope we're getting Overwatch Lego, but no, we are legitimately getting Overwatch Lego sets. And as much as that makes me question, it's like, how are they gonna make Overwatch Lego? Because it's like there's a lot of guns involved. And Lego they don't exactly like guns, but I can see them skirting around it in certain ways, like stud shooters, and I feel like Tracer could just reuse Star-Lord's blaster mold, because those guns are actually pretty similar. I feel like they can do that for Tracer's weapons, and it's like, okay, I can maybe kind of see this working. Also, CCBS Overwatch, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind getting a CCBS, like, who would be a good CCBS character? Like Bastion. Bastion as a CCBS build. That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I think of Overwatch Lego, I immediately think of how cool it would be for construction, but I guess that's not gonna happen. RIP.
If someone made like the CCBS or anything Wrecking Ball, I would actually like rejoin like message boards frequently, just for that. Cause like he looks so perfect. He's like, Anyways.
Yeah, because some of these designs are tailor made for CCBS. Because it would actually be kind of cool if it ends up being the savior of CCBS. Because Bionicle Generation 2, unfortunately, was kind of a big dud. which you know, with a bad story that I'm working on fixing. Plug. Go watch Bionicle Reiterated on my YouTube channel. The first season is up, and the second season is in production. Gotta plug my own stuff. Sorry, it's on my channel. I can do what I want. But so Bionicle G2 was kind of a dud, and then it seems like Star Wars CCBS hasn't been doing that hot either, because it seems like, from what we could tell, they actually had to cancel a wave of Star Wars construction this year. We were supposed to get a Super Battle Droid and 501st Clone Trooper riding an ATRT build, similar to how we got a Imperial Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike set like a year ago. So we were supposed to get an ATRT with a 501st Trooper, and those didn't happen. We got some of those classic, Lego prelim box designs with the untextured pieces, but it's obviously that's what this is, and it seems like based on set listings these sets were going to come out, but then it didn't happen. Pilakar were here right now in chat, which I think he's busy playing the mainline TTV Gamenight on the PC, because they're all PC nerds over there. So they're not here watching this. But if Pilakar were here in chat, he would be very angry at this, because he's been very angry about it in the past, and he's like, I can't believe this has happened, that it's been canceled. I really wanted that. Anyway, so that happened. So Overwatch, I think, could kind of be the savior of construction. It's like CCBS, the one good thing to come out of Hero Factory that's kind of stuck around is CCBS, the character creature building system. It's a legit good. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! He just wiped out the team. The only reason I escaped is because I was able to roll into a ball and leave.
She pulled us meaty.
Yeah. Goodness me. So and some of these designs from Overwatch would be tailor-made for a CCBS line. So it would legitimately be cool to see. I don't think I would actually buy any of them. I don't think I would probably end up buying any of the sets. Well, or any of the construction sets. I'm definitely not going to buy any of the system sets unless there's like, okay, actually that vehicle's cool. I could use that vehicle for something, even in a Lego Star Wars something or other. Even though people are going to yell at me, going, "Hey, why is Diva's obviously pink mech running around with stormtroopers? This is weird and messed up." It's like, it's a Lego stop motion. Quit critiquing me. This is not critique my animation style or something. Don't critique me on this. It was something I could put into a crowd, and it's sci-fi looking. Shut up. Anyway. So, yeah. It's like, oh, there's May's ice wall. As Smeedy used to say, May is Bay. Remember when that was the thing? People used to call everything Bay. 2016 was weird. I'm frozen! You don't freeze your hamsters, you freeze your fish.
What?
You freeze your fish. Because they're easier to transport that way. Except it doesn't always work, and sometimes they die. Anyway.
Oh.
Oh wait, that's a friendly mercy. So it's like we kind of got sidetracked on the Overwatch Lego, which obviously people are excited for. Like we're getting Overwatch Lego. That's very exciting. But the thing that I'm more excited about, May is no longer Bay. So what I'm more excited about is the fact that what these Lego Overwatch sets are supposedly going to be themed around is a rumored Overwatch, and I almost called it Lego Overwatch again. Bleh, is a rumored. Oh, here we go again.
Oh no!
Oh, she just. Oh, there's play of the game. Play of the game right there, boys. I'm calling it now. Diva. Oh my gosh.
I think the first one will be play.
Holy crap.
They are taking it. We gotta get in there, boys. I was too late. Okay, let's watch this. That's play of the game right there.
You can exit right now.
Rage quit. Rage quit. Yeah, huh?
Yep.
Okay, but which one was it? Was it the first one or the second? It was this one.
Oh, the second.
I knew it.
I saw her like in the window. I was like, oh no.
And you can see I tried to move. Just killed everyone. It's like, what a surprise that was play of the game. Wow. Holy cow, we got annihilated. But anyway, so supposedly that there's going to be a Overwatch Netflix show, which has me excited because finally, they are going to do something with this lore. They have some really cool lore, and they've done nothing with it so far. And before anyone yells at me, yes, I know that there's a comic book or whatever, but it's like, I do not wanna go and read a comic book. It's like Overwatch is tailor-made. Oh, something happened. Not enough players finding a new game. Okay, Overwatch is tailor-made for a TV show. These designs. I mean, when I first heard about this game. First when I heard about this game being a thing, I thought it was a resurgence of the Insomniac Games game Fuse, which was originally called Overstrike before EA got their dirty hands on it and then forced Insomniac to do a bunch of things they didn't want to do and turned it into a really bad game, and renamed it Fuse, which no one there liked or wanted to do, but that's what ended up happening. So at first I thought this game was a reworked version of Fuse that was actually going to be good, and then I realized, oh wait, no, this is a completely different thing. So when I realized that it was going to be a completely different thing, completely separate from Insomniac's Fuse, I then thought that it was based off of an anime. I thought it was based on something. It's like, oh, so we've got another anime game coming. It's like, oh wait, this is a completely original IP that doesn't have any visual media. Oh, that's interesting. And then and then the beta happened, and then it happened, and I kind of learned some of the character backstories and bios, and then the animated shorts happened, and then it was just a video game with some comics, and I'm like, why is this not a TV show? This should be a TV show. I want to watch this TV show because it looks like a really cool TV show. And then we just haven't been getting that until possibly now. So what are your thoughts on if this is going to be if this ends up being a Netflix show? What do you guys think? Bye, Smeety.
Yeah, bye, Smeety.
Yeah, it's like
see you.
I hope you'll show up to the next one as well. Maybe how about this, Smeety? If I guess if you still got you would need PlayStation Plus to join us again. But if you so I'm assuming you still have PlayStation Plus. Maybe we could play another round of Worms. We can live stream some Worms because that was awesome when we did that. When we played Worms that one time. So maybe we could do that for our next game night here in the next couple of weeks. So see you later, Smeety. Thanks for coming on. So
Nice bash, Luca.
So
Oh wait.
So there's the question. It's like, what do you guys think of a phew, I thought what do you guys think of an Overwatch TV show? Would that be something you would watch?
I can't really see myself getting into it. Like there is lore stuff, but like, what are they? I'm not sure. I guess I just don't know what it would be about. Like, I had never even heard of the possibility of them having a Netflix show. So like, if I could like have more information like on it, like what it would be like, the themes, like how long it would be, stuff like that, then I might be into it, but I can't really see myself like enjoying it that much. Like, the shorts are good, but like they're mostly just like emotional tearjerkers, like with some good action animation.
Like Bastions. Anything. It's literally if Wally was a Transformer and had PTSD. That's essentially what Bastions short is.
Yeah, like I can't see them making like an entire show on that kind of thing. Maybe like a one season or like a few short episode thing, but like not an entire show. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Loka, your thoughts?
I don't. Uh, I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I don't really think that much of Overwatch, the game. I don't know how interested I am in a TV series, but I mean, I'm not opposed to it. As you said earlier, I mean, they haven't really done much with the lore, so I mean, that could be a good opportunity to bring it to a wider audience, because I don't know how many people are actually reading the comics in the first place. Because I don't know, like the like comics and books based on games, I don't really know if they usually become that popular, except for maybe Halo.
Yeah, because
like
Halo has never had a TV show, but they've got like 3 straight-to-DVD movies.
Yeah, and tons of
And
books.
were they successes? Like I'm asking, like genuinely, like were they actually successful, like loved in the community?
I have no idea. I don't
No
think
idea.
so, but like I've always been a PlayStation person. I'm not very in tune with the Xbox community, so maybe there's like a small percentage of people that do love it. Maybe I don't know, but all I know is that every now and then I go to Walmart and I see in like the $10 to $5 to $10 cheapo DVD section. It's like Halo, the anthology collection that it includes these 3 movies, and then the one that kind of web series that was kind of a TV show but not really. So yeah.
I think there's been some Halo anime as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that's on the collection. So.
All right.
So, Lewis, you say you're not sure what an Overwatch TV show would be about. What they would actually do with that. I feel like the intro video at the very beginning of the game. You turn on the game and do you always get this, or is it just the first time? Because it may just be because I've got the free to play version.
Winston and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it every
you
time?
always get that.
Okay. Yeah. It's like that intro video that gives you the synopsis of the TV show right there. Is that there was this thing called Omnic War or something like that. There was this conflict. Over and over again. Yeah, there's this Omnic War. This special forces group called Overwatch was formed. Eventually this treaty or whatever was signed, and now the world has known peace for a certain amount of time. But but part of the thing with the treaty is that Overwatch was disbanded and sort of kind of made illegal, to where it's like, okay, we appreciate what you guys did, but you can't operate as a unit anymore because it's like you could potentially rule the world because powers and stuff. So I mean that's essentially what I get from that. But so then after
that can happen. You can say that. Go on.
So, but then after a certain amount of time, a group of former Overwatch operators, or members or whatever, operators, I say that because I'm a big Rainbow Six Siege nut, a group of former Overwatch team members decides, like, hey, you know what? Let's be evil. Wouldn't being evil be fun? Look, I could put on this skull mask and pretend to be the Grim Reaper. This will be a fun old time. Let's do this. So, and then they start causing trouble. And then, even though the governments of the world tell them, no, you can't do this, Overwatch has to kind of pull a Captain America Civil War and go against what the government says for the betterment of the world and try to save it from their former comrades who have turned evil. And so then the series then follows this starts following over the new not exactly the old not exactly the new, because I mean I guess it's the same, because I guess it's the exact same members, but it's like it follows Overwatch, the people that haven't turned evil and finding each other again, and then and then fighting because who are the bad guys? Let me think here. It's obviously Reaper, Widowmaker, Sombra. Is she technically bad, or is she just kind of in it
Yeah,
for
she's with
herself?
them. She's with them.
Okay, yeah.
Moira, Doomfist.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Doomfist, he is officially with them because from his one little animatic thing, it seemed like he was just kind of on his own.
No, he's part of the group that they're all in. They're like all a bunch of terrorists and
Okay,
mercenaries.
okay. So I was just trying to think. I was just trying to think of like maybe one episode could be Doomfist as this just kind of random terrorist, and then Reaper ends up recruiting them into their cult of evil, and he's like, okay, I'll join you, and then he's kind of got aspirations of killing all of them and ruling the world himself or whatever. Again, I don't really know too much of these character backstories, just basically what the animated shorts have told me. So then the show then goes through their trials and tribulations of trying to stop uh, their former colleagues from selling Overwatch's good name further while also staying on the run from the government and stuff. And then maybe like there's one original character of the show that's not in the game. And it's like that could actually kind of be a cool character. And it's like imagine you've got like a giant monkey and a hamster and a rollerball and the Grim Reaper shooting at each other, and then you just got this random FBI agent type guy in a suit with sunglasses. Think of Agent Smith from the Matrix, but in Overwatch. Just imagine him on the field with doing like karate moves with a surprisingly powerful handgun, and like he could be in the and could be kind of silently rooting for them, but officially he has to do his job and hunt them down in air quotes, but he's always gonna let them get away so they can try to become official again. I don't know. That's just kind of my little pitch. It's like I could see this working. I would watch this. This seems cool, and it'd be like 22-minute episodes with like hour-long season finales and stuff like that. Or in the season premiere that's an hour long, and like 13 to 22 episodes per season. It's like I could see that working. That seems cool to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like your pitch. Like besides some of the lore inconsistencies with the plot, I get what you're saying, and like if you take that basic structure and apply it to the canon, like fix it up a bit, and it would be like a really solid sounding show.
And again, the only reason there's inconsistencies there is that I'm not an expert on Overwatch. Just from what I've observed,
exactly.
This is what I feel the show could be. So good to know that I'm pretty much spot on the possibilities there. Because it's like that seems interesting. It's like because I know there's like some sort of history between Soldier 76 and Reaper. Like they were the co-leads of Overwatch or something like that, and then they kind of ended up having a falling out after they were disbanded, and then of course Reaper went evil. And stuff like that, and like Soldier 76 is kind of essentially Captain America, so
Edgy
sort of kind of
Captain
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm frozen. Right. May is not Bay. May is not Bay. Ah, help! I can't roll. Yay! Lucio, let's break it down into your face.
Reaper was evil before the whole split up.
May's down. Reinhardt's down. Oh, I missed. Dang it. So yeah, I would definitely enjoy an Overwatch Netflix show, and I don't know, maybe it would actually get me to play the game some more. Maybe not. I don't know. I still think it's ridiculously expensive, but at this point, I don't think we're ever going to get an Overwatch 2 because games as a service are pretty big nowadays. I feel like Overwatch is pretty much permanently now going to be a game as a service for a long while. Maybe in like 5 years we get Overwatch 2, and it's the most hyped thing up ever. But at this point, I feel like it's just going to be Overwatch is a video game and then a Netflix show, and then maybe the video game ends up getting some story content added into it that you can play because, there's no shortage of money at the Activision Blizzard offices, are there?
No.
So it's like
$60 games.
Yeah, it's like people keep. Overwatch is. There's a reason. There's a reason it's still so expensive to buy is because people keep buying it. So I mean, if people stop buying it, then the price would go down. That's the reason it's so expensive, is everyone keeps buying it at that price, which is the reason I'm not buying it. It's because it is still at that price. But anyway, I've said that like 40 times so far tonight. So I mean, maybe, you know, if the TV show's Netflix show is successful, then they end up adding like a miniature campaign, you know, like 3 hours of story content to, like, you know, it for that, you know, it's like every, you know, a season of the Netflix show ends, you get 3 hours of story content in the game to kind of bridge the seasons when the new season comes around. And it's like, all right, here's our kind of prequel to season 2 and season 3 and stuff like that. And then that gives you a little bit of story content. And then maybe the game's worth $30 to $60 after that. But the prospect of a Netflix show is very, very enticing to me, because I think with the lore that they've got and these characters that they've crafted, that they've just up until now not really done much with. You know, I'm frozen. Help!
Got you, fam.
Yay! You know, it's like, it seems like it would be an injustice if they don't get some sort of story. And it... Ow. But...
Oh, thanks for the revive.
Because... what's the official term for this game? Isn't it it's not, it's, you know, while it is a first-person shooter, it's also technically a hero, if I'm correct?
Class-based. I forget what it's called.
A class-based hero shooter, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seemed like in like late 2015, early 2016, you know, you know, before it was the hero shooter. Now it's battle royales. You know, the gimmick game everyone was making that you had to jump on the bandwagon on to make a quick buck off of was the hero shooter. Because there was this. There was, of course, this, and then the basically essentially dead on arrival because of Overwatch, Battleborn. That was a thing for a very short amount of time. It's like, who remembers Battleborn?
Battle what?
Exactly. It's like, no, you know, it just immediately died. It's like, was it even born? Well, I mean, wasn't it just kind of stillborn?
Was Battleborn even born?
Yeah. It's like, it seemed like it was still.
Much.
I mean, I feel like that was the headline of a review, Battle Stillborn or something like that. That was the title of that review. I can't remember from what website, but I feel like I remember seeing that back in the day. And then, of course, you know, there was like one or two cheaper games that came out that died pretty much as quickly because Overwatch just cannibalized everything. And then what it seemed like it died pretty quickly. And even then, you could maybe not put it into this category, but I would, just because, you know, I've called it Overwatch for grown-ups in the past. Is that Rainbow Six Siege came out, and it was on life support for a while, and now it's one of the most popular games to play today. So it has found its fan base and its footing, and it is thriving right now. It's not as popular as Overwatch, but it is a thriving game. So hero shooters were kind of the hot thing for a while, and then really the only two that managed to survive were Rainbow Six and Overwatch. Man, Diva seems to be getting play of the game more often than Bastion. Things really do change in a year.
Don't play the games anymore.
Yeah.
Because people.
So, but that's the thing with games as a service, is that those that are still around, which is again basically Rainbow Six and Overwatch, I don't think they need to be as expensive as they are. I think they need to be, because especially, and really, my thoughts on this have kind of shaped and formed very recently with the battle royale market kind of taking over. Is that because, I mean, you look at Fortnite, there is an official, you know, it's like it came out as, you know, in a case. You know, you could buy the early access case at GameStop for however much it was. I feel like it was like $40 to $60, and you could play the Save the World mode. And then they introduced their their battle royale mode, and then that's what everyone plays. No one, very few people probably play the save the world version of actually paying money for that game. It's everyone's playing the free to play battle royale mode, and then they sink all their money into buying skins and stuff. And Epic Games is making a small fortune off of it. Well, actually, I'm not even. They're not making a small fortune off of anything. They've made a very large fortune off of that game, probably. So, but it's free. That's the point. But that's the thing about it, is that it is very, very free. You can play that game and enjoy it for, as Loka and I have said tonight and on previous game nights, you can play it and enjoy it for 2 hours, put it down, forget about it for a couple of days, come back 3-4 days later, play it for another 2 hours, and then rinse and repeat. I feel like Overwatch and maybe even Rainbow Six Siege, as good as much. I feel like Rainbow Six Siege maybe is worth the $60. Well, maybe not the $60. Depending on the version you buy. If you're buying like the base game, maybe it's not worth the $60 with the operators there. But if you're buying like the Year 3 edition, that comes with all the operators and all the operators you would get for the rest of this year, which is at the very least 2, maybe 4 more operators this year. I feel like that would be a $60 package. But I feel like Overwatch and this would get me to actually get the game. Well, it's free. But I feel like Overwatch needs to go free to play, and then start charging you actual money for the cosmetics and the new heroes that come out, and then kind of rework their currency system.
Oh
no! You don't think that's a good idea?
No, especially not with the heroes, because like the Battlefront games that by EA that came out recently, there'd be like a huge split in in what people could play. Like entire maps and game modes would just be unavailable to people who don't pay like $30 extra for the season pass or DLC.
Well, see,
and
that's the thing, is that with okay, for Battlefront 2015, yes, that is what happened, is that they had all the DLC and the heroes were locked behind said DLC, and you did see a big split in the player base. When it comes to Battlefront 2 2017, that is not the case. All the DLC is free to the player. You just have to unlock it with in-game currency. And then of course you can go, or you could pay money for crystals and then unlock them with crystals. But it's like I paid for Battlefront 2. I spent $60 on that game, and I've not put another cent into that game because, well, for like the first 8 months after launch, well, actually, I guess maybe not that long, because I guess it's only been out for 8 months now. For like the first 6 months after launch, microtransactions were not in that game because of the uproar. But everyone, when that game updates and there's new DLC out for it, you get that new DLC. Everyone can play on the new maps. Everyone can play as the new heroes, and the new heroes, yes, while locked behind a credit wall, are not locked behind a substantial credit wall. It doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to it. There's this Clone Wars DLC coming out pretty soon, and they recently went over what it's going to take to unlock Obi-Wan Kenobi and General Grievous. They're not going to be the most expensive things in the world. They're only going to be, wow, I killed someone? Holy cow! I barely tapped him. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to unlock General Grievous. He's only going to be something like 15,000 credits, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's not going to be that terrible. So I feel like Overwatch could do a similar thing where you could pay $2 to unlock Tracer's mom. Let's say Tracer's mom becomes a new character. It's like, but the thing is, Tracer, while Tracer is fast, Tracer's mom is actually very slow, and she actually has she also has time manipulation, but she's slow. And actually, this would not be feasible for gameplay at all. But, it's like everyone else just moves slower. And it's like Tracer's mom actually moves at normal speed, but she can stop time, and no one can move, and then she can just do all her. It's like that's not actually something that you'd be able to implement into a online multiplayer game. But you get what I'm saying, is that this new hero, Tracer's mom, comes out, and then you can pay $2.99 to unlock her in the game with actual money, or you can just play the game, and then at the end of the game you get depending on how you did, you get 15 to 30 coins, and then she costs 200 coins to unlock with that. So you could just buy her with actual money, or you could just play the game enough to unlock her. It wouldn't be the game's free, but then all the season pass. But here's a $50 season pass you need to buy to unlock DLC. It wouldn't be like that at all. Yeah, it would be. It would just be a small. You play the game, you unlock enough coins, and then you buy that character, easy peasy. That would be the gist of it. Like with Overwatch, or excuse me, with Rainbow Six Siege or Battlefront 2. The problem with Rainbow Six Siege, though, is that you can do that, but it does cost you an arm and a leg to unlock new operators, which is something, because it costs 25,000 renown to unlock a new operator that's not from the base game, because a couple months ago now, all the operators from the base game were made available to everyone. You can play any character for the base game. It was 20, right, Loka? It's like 20 base operators.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. There's 20 10 attackers, 10 defenders. You can play them all and not have to spend any money on microtransactions, and then just play the game and unlock the DLC characters through hard work. The only thing is that it is very hard work. Ranked does get it's like if you win a game of ranked in Rainbow Six Siege, you can get up to 5,000 experience and like 500 and like 500 renown. That's as much as I've gotten, at least. And that may only be because, as Loka was very shocked to hear last game night, it's I'm now a diamond. I'm a diamond player in Rainbow Six, which is essentially as high as you can go. No, I'm not diamond. I'm platinum. Excuse me. It's because it goes. It's like bronze, silver, gold, and then I'm a platinum. So I tried to hype myself up more than higher than I actually was. I'm not lying, I promise. That was a mistake. And so maybe I'm getting higher rewards because I am winning games at a higher rank. That could very well be possible. But but even then, no matter what, you win a game of ranked, and again, it's not always like this, but say it was always like this. You win a game of ranked, you always get 500 renown without boosters or anything. It's like, how many that's and you need 25,000 renown to unlock a new operator. 500, it's like, do the math on that. That's a lot of matches you have to win. And of course, you get renowned if you lose, of course. But I mean, that's still a lot. That's still a lot of gameplay time. And that's even saying if it was that high, and it's not that high. So it takes forever to get enough renown to unlock new operators in Siege. So much so that I actually did spend. I actually was naughty, and I spent actual money to unlock an operator. Although I did not go out of my way to do that, I had some money left over from buying a game on my Vita, and it's like, oh, I have exactly this much needed to in order to buy enough Rainbow Six credits of real money to unlock a new operator. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because the money's left over. So, oh my. So I'm playing Hammond, and someone else on the other team is playing Hammond. So now there's just two opposing Hammonds going around in a circle. Oh, never mind.
I am trying so hard to keep you alive.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. So
it's hard. You're moving so fast.
Let me put it this way: not counting completing challenges and activating boosters or playing during whenever there's like a 50% boost or something. It should take you around 20 hours to unlock one DLC operator.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I wish I was joking. I wish I was over-exaggerating.
Over-exaggerating.
Yeah, I'm not joking. It's way too many hours to unlock just one DLC character.
And you're suggesting they do something like that with Overwatch?
Yes, but of course not to that extent, because I really do think that's my one complaint about Rainbow Six Siege right now. As brilliant of a game as I think that is a huge problem, and I do think they need to lower that cost. It's like, okay, for the new operators that have just come out, like the newest operators right now are Maestro and Alibi. I completely understand why those would still be 25,000 to unlock. But what about Buck, who came out, like, he was one of the first DLC characters to come out in like 2016. So he's now he's almost as old as the base game operators that came out in late 2016. Oh man, I got stunned, which meant I didn't deploy my ultimate. That's annoying. That's annoying. And I was about to spray mines all over him. That's... Screw you, Reaper. So I'm just like, why is... I feel like Buck should Buck and as much as I hate her, Caviera, because she's an older operator at this point now. Buck and Caviera and some of these older DLC operators at this point, I feel like they should come down to like 5,000 to 10,000 renown. They've been out for a good while. I think their prices should be reduced. Brand new operators, okay, I understand them being expensive because they're brand new. But what if I wanna unlock Echo or Valkyrie? Why do I have to? And they've been around forever at this point, almost as long as the base game operators. Why am I having to pay 25,000 renown or five US dollars? It's ridiculous. I mean, I have actually several times at this point I have actually considered buying the season pass for year 3, but at this point I've kind of refrained because season 3 is almost over and we're going to be on to season 4 here before we know it. And that's why I haven't that's basically the reason why I haven't bit the bullet and bought the year 3 pass. And another reason I've also been considering that is that I thought Rainbow Six Siege might be fun to get into a while back, but like with Overwatch, it's still insanely expensive. You go to a store and it's still like $60 even today, and it's like, that's kind of ridiculous. But then they had a free weekend, and then shortly after that they had it on sale. They had it on sale on the PlayStation Network, and it was like 25. Oh, I killed someone, and it was like $25. I'm like, okay, digitally for $25, I will. Sir, Bridget, stop it. Here, have some mines. I will absolutely buy this game for $25 and sink some time into it. And then I ended up falling madly in love with that game. So, since I only paid $25 for it on sale, I would not be. Oh, great! I should have rolled for it instead of continuing to spin around in circles. I would have. I maybe not with this season because it's so late at this point, but maybe I will go ahead and buy the. Maybe I will go ahead and buy the year 4 pass in January when it becomes available for the $30 or whatever, because, well, I didn't buy the game for full price. I feel like it is worth full price, so why not? So I feel like Overwatch could do a similar thing. To kind of make it worth more of its money.
I think that one of the reasons you could say it's $60 is that they're like constantly coming out with new maps, new heroes, for free, like absolutely free. But like after a while, it's not going to be that same worth. Like if you buy it later, like if they're not making as many heroes, it's not going to be like worth $60, which is when they may like lower the price down a bit, I think. That's a fair argument because they do constantly update it, but I mean that's the thing, is that they could lower the price to I'm even going to say don't make it free. Make the game $20. Make the base game $20, and then implement
okay, you gotta buy 200 coins when these new heroes roll out. And then they're still going to make probably the exact same amount of money they would have been making if the game were still $60.
I'm not sure about that kind of stuff. I'm not saying you're wrong or I disagree. I just have no idea how that kind of stuff would work. Like, Overwatch is a game where you like it's necessary to have all the heroes. So like things are easily counterable. Like if someone's going Genji, go Winston. If someone's going Winston, go Reaper and stuff like that. Like you will want all the heroes, and it'll like people will call it a pay-to-win game, I guess, if you do that sort of thing, and it's heavily frowned upon.
Well, but at the very same time, Rainbow Six Siege is the exact same way. You know, it's like you have a Montagna running around with this big old shield. Well, here comes Cav with her 99% damage pistol to shoot him in the back and take him down, and it's like Rainbow Six Siege has all these different counter, again, and you want those operators to counter and stuff too in the exact same manner as Overwatch, but you can get them by playing the game, but they're just insanely expensive, or you could, it just takes forever to unlock them naturally, or you could pay, and no one calls that a pay-to-win game. Oh, hey, look,
Which
sushi.
is actually weird, because I would actually argue that it is pay to win. I mean, the DLC operators can still be countered even by, like, the
oh boy, run away.
Oh. So that's not really a problem, but, I mean, the problem is...
yeah, Hibana is still going to be... Hibana is still going to be countered by Jaeger. Or not...
yeah, or...
Bandit,
Mute.
I mean. I always get the two German defenders messed up. Took me forever to learn their names, too.
Sushi.
Okay, so we'll finish up... I'm just going to let myself die here so I can message him back. We will finish up this game, and then we will add him.
Yeah,
how am I not dead?
I'm healing you.
Oh, that explains it.
you.
Okay.
I got you, fam.
Yeah. I was going to say, as I just said, like even the DLC operators can be countered by the base operators. However, the problem is that with the way it works currently, like Ubisoft's reasoning is that they don't want to split the player base, so all maps and such are free, which is good. But at the same time, I feel locking DLC operators behind a paywall and a huge grind wall is kind of what did I just say for I feel it does split the player base, because you're gonna have some players that have, for instance, trying to think of someone like Finka. There's who can like use these nanobots to boost the other players, but there's no other operator that is even close to like what to her abilities. So unless you're willing to pay that money or grind that much, that's just one tactic that you can't use because you don't have the money or need to grind. So I feel it does kind of split the player base, if not, maybe not as bad as it would be if it actually sold map packs, but I feel like it's still bad enough.
That's fair. And because I am kind of I'm not really kind of. Oh, see, first time since I've been playing this free weekend, I just now got some currency in a pack. So that goes back to our conversation earlier. Anyway, because I'm of pretty much the exact same mind. Yeah, it is. I feel like in some ways it is a pay to win game because of the, well, You know, you can pay your $5 to unlock the new operators right now and start just absolutely trouncing people while they have to wait a week before it's open to buying it with renown, and even then, while you're waiting, you know, and even then, it may take forever to farm enough renown to unlock that operator. So yeah, I've kind of been of the mind that it is kind of pay to win in that system, and I've kind of been that. I've kind of thought that for a while, but the thing is, let's do a couple more quick play matches. Then maybe let's try out some Lucio Ball. I've never actually tried that, but I've heard people go crazy about it. So, oh, good, it's on.
Like 50-50, but you need 3 people for it. Actually, no, I'll quit so you guys can do Lucio Ball and I'll spectate you.
So, all right, we're looking for a game. So yes, I agree. I've been of that mind that it is a free. Well, it's not a free to play, but that it is a pay to win. But you don't see scores of people online getting up in a further and screaming at Ubisoft that you're trash. This is a pay to win game. You don't see any outrage at all. I mean, I have not actually seen a single person on the internet call it a pay to win game. I had to come to that conclusion myself, and because I was like, wait a second, and because I didn't see anything on the internet that made me think other people thought that. So
yeah, I've only seen like a handful of people actually saying that, but it's not the majority.
Well, it's funny because what kind of made me start thinking about that is when all the loot box microtransaction controversy was going on with Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017, right before it was released, because people were, I mean, that like weekend because it happened for a long time. But in like that 2 weeks before launch, right before they, because it was like the day before launch when they announced that they were going to stop, that in the day one patch, they were going to patch out the microtransactions. Leading up to that point, that last like week and a half, 2 weeks before launch, that was just, the internet was ridiculous. It seemed like everyone and their mother was just going all over EA and just screaming at the top of their internet lungs as much as they could that you are the worst people ever. And it's like, well, I mean, people have always thought EA are the worst people ever. That's no different. But it seemed like everyone came out to voice their opinion on that in that time. And it actually affected change, and it's like, and it was very loud. It was very, very vocal, and I wasn't happy about what they were trying to pull with Battlefront 2 either. But I just decided that screaming about it wasn't going to help anything, and as it turned out, it actually did help. It helped something. But I decided to remain civil. But at the same time, I'm like, well, hold on. Why is it that Star Wars has to be the scapegoat here when Rainbow Six Siege arguably has a worse system here with the operators. So that was kind of what made me think that. And to this day, I've never seen anyone call Rainbow Six Siege a free to play game.
I mean, pay to win.
Yeah. Yes, pay to win. I mean, thank you, Loka. It's like, well, yeah, there is a good reason I've never seen people call Rainbow Six a free to play because, well, it's not. It's not. Reaper.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is pretty simple. One was a Star Wars game, which has, well, just for being a Star Wars game, has everyone's eyes on it, whereas Rainbow Six, I feel like no one really cared about it when it was coming up, because it was, I don't know, I felt like I was one of the few people that actually cared about the game before it got super big for whatever reason.
Oh boy.
And there actually was controversy when it was revealed that there was going to be rainbow credits and you would have to unlock new operators with either those in-game currencies or by grinding for 20 hours minimum, but it didn't caught on the same way Battlefront 2 did. So there was controversy, but I feel like it died down after launch for some reason. Probably because they didn't change it, so like...
I think they fix most of the stuff, or come in the middle.
I'm sorry, come again?
Didn't they like try to fix their mistake and try to like come in the middle of like what people are demanding? Like, I can't remember what they changed
Which game?
exactly, but...
Yeah, Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've... Yeah, I suppose they took the middle way in that you can't...
At first,
how does it work again?
So as of right now, it is the middle road of EA basically gets what they, we also get what we want. At first they, you know, that for like the first 6 months the game was out, there was no microtransactions. They completely turned that system off while they reworked the progression system to make sure that there was no way it could be you know, there could be a potential pay to win pay to win scenario there. And even then, and the system that they had at launch has since been phased out, so I can't, so I'm so used to the current one that I can't even quite remember what it was going to be like before launch. And because the progression system that they were talking about was going to be in the game right before launch, before they made the change, you know, it's like we never actually got to play with that progression system because, you know, because they had the beta version, which was even going to be different from the one we got from what we were going to get at launch, and then they changed it, right before launch to where we never even ended up getting it. So it's like we don't know actually how that was going to work. It's just that we had hypotheses about how it could potentially work and be a problem to where people could buy, run. To where people could buy, to where people could potentially buy their way to victory and just completely smash the competition with these overpowered star cards that they had. But the thing with that is that you could buy loot boxes and potentially get star cards that were of a higher level. But that's the key word there. You could potentially get star cards that were of, as far as at least if I'm remembering correctly, you could potentially get star cards that were a higher level, and then use that to, and then that would give you an unfair advantage. But it was all based on the luck of the draw. Of course, you could buy, and I think Angry Joe specifically did this, at least during the beta, you know, using the beta version of it. You could sink, you could just buy $100 worth of loot boxes, and then just based on the percentages, you would get some good stuff out of that and be able to smash the competition. So, oh no, I'm in the middle of the dragon, help, ow, pain.
Speaking of Angry Joe, he was one of the few people that was outspoken against the Rainbow Six Siege DLC.
Huh.
Yeah. Because he did like an interview with one of the developers, and he mentioned rainbow credits, which hadn't been announced yet. And I remember, like, Angry Joe just had this, like, really confused look in his face. Like, wait, hold on. Rainbow credits? What this? And it's like, oh, we haven't announced it yet, so we can't talk about it now.
See, I did not pay
oh,
attention to that game until like 2 years after it came out almost. So it's like, so all this stuff from before it came out is always a surprise to me that this happens. So that's really interesting. It's like I know YouTube personalities will sometimes break news like that, but I didn't realize that that R6 credit was a thing that was essentially revealed on the Angry Joe show. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Diva's blowing up again.
Ah.
Stupid Mac.
Thank you.
Diva, go away. Your short sucked.
No.
Not really. I actually liked it, but anyway.
Okay.
So. I've got my minds back. Oh, what? Oh, I'm... Sombra hacked me. I can't use any of my stuff. There we go. Ouch. Oh, looks like our diva just got a bunch of kills. Oh.
Yep. So glorious.
No emoted.
Hey.
Thanks. There it is. Yay.
GG.
Alright, so who got... Oh, Reaper got play of the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, this Reaper was cut... Oh, and I was one of them. Okay, there's 1 kill. 2 kills. 3 kills. Really? That was play of the game? I feel like that...
Diva.
Oh yeah, our diva got way more.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That's weird.
I've always had an issue with their play of the game system. It seems like they never... That it's only like a half and half. Sometimes it, half the time it does go, it doesn't. So, well.
They even said themselves they don't know how to fix it.
That's not good when the developers admit we don't know how to fix this.
Yeah.
And now Call of Duty has play of the game, which I found
does it?
hilarious. Yeah, at least World War II has. I think Black Ops 4 had it as well in a beta, but I don't remember exactly.
That would be interesting if it ends up being put into the Battle Royale mode. Like, here's the play of the game from our from this round of Blackout, and it was like this guy in a ATV jumping off a building, smashing 2 people, and then jumping out to Uzi 2 more. It's like that'd be interesting. Yeah, so Sushi's bringing up what I was going to bring up next. Can I play as the crashed speeder? So, speaking of Star Wars Battlefront 2 and controversy with that, because if you don't pay attention to Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017, it seems like all the controversy surrounding that game died down when they removed the microtransactions back right before the game launched. Yeah, if you actually are in the Star Wars community, in the Star Wars gaming community, and the Star Wars Battlefront 2 community, and you actively play it often enough, and you look at the internet and the Reddit and all that and the forums surrounding that game has been in constant controversy ever since.
Yep.
It has not died down at all. It's not to where everyone and their mother's yelling at EA on Twitter right now. And I doubt it'll ever get that bad again. But for the people that still play the game, it seems like, and it could very, very well just be a silent minority, excuse me, a vocal minority, silent majority situation. It very, very well could be. Because I have not really had too much of a problem with some of the things people have been yelling and ranting about on the internet. It's like, well, I mean... They said that they're going to get to this eventually. I don't see what the problem is here at the moment, but okay, sure, go ahead and be mad about it if you just want to be mad about something. But something happened 2 or 3 days ago that did get me mad for the first time since the loot box problem. So at EA, or at E3, we discussed this in our kind of two-part big ol' E3 live stream discussion back in June. EA announced that Clone Wars DLC content is coming to Battlefront 2, which made people very happy for about an hour, about a day and a half. Everyone was pretty positive about Battlefront 2, and then they got back to their moaning and whining. So that was a glorious day and a half when they announced that Clone Wars was coming to more Clone Wars content was coming to Battlefront 2. So finally, now in August, we are starting to get some of said Clone Wars content. This upcoming Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to be getting the 41st Elite Corps, which is the Clone Legion that was on Kashyyyk during Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, and then the 227th Star Corps, which is Commander Bly's battalion, and they were on Felucia during Order 66, so they were the ones that eliminated Aayla Secura with extreme prejudice, which it's a very emotional and sad scene, but every time I watch Revenge of the Sith, I cannot help but crack a smile and kind of giggle just a little bit, because poor Aayla Secura, they just light her up. Bly shoots her in the back.
She's on the ground.
Yeah, Bly shoots her in the back. She goes down immediately, and then they just continue to shoot her over and over and over and over and over again. And as the camera pans up, and you don't actually see what ends up of her poor mangled corpse, because she's thankfully blocked by a giant Felucian mushroom, because Felucia is basically Vietnam salad the planet. So yeah. So that's that legion. So we are getting those two legions as skins right off the bat, and it's some people, including me, were surprised that we are not getting the 501st right off the bat, since they are they are the Clone Legion you think of when it comes to Clone Legions. But someone somewhere brought up a good point. It's probably a bunch of some places brought up a good point, is that we're probably going to get the 501st when Anakin Skywalker is a hero that's released, and we're probably going to get the 212th when Obi-Wan is released as a hero. It's like, that makes sense. Have the Jedi General and his Clone Legion come out at the same time. That actually makes a lot of sense. So we're getting the 41st Elite and the 327th Star Corps coming out. And it seems like everything should be pretty hunky-dory, right? You know, this seems like a good thing. Everyone should be happy and grateful about this. However, in the photo that was released, that was celebrating this fact, that had two troopers from the corresponding legions there on Kashyyyk, depending on which Twitter account you looked at, if you looked at the community manager's Twitter account versus the official EA account Twitter account, you could see what, and it's not even a case of, ooh, what resembles a, no, you could plain as day see a Droideka or destroyer droid model visible in the bottom right corner of the screen. I feel like I'm getting this correct. The community manager's Twitter account picture had that was, you know, the Droideka was in his image, but the official EA Twitter account's picture was not there. They had blurred it out. So people start going nuts. It's like, oh, we're getting Droidekas too. We get to play as a Droideka. You know, it's like destroyer droids are coming. Oh, that's awesome. And in EA's main Twitter account started going, no, what are you guys talking about? You guys are crazy. And so then here come all of the, and you know, people start doing the zoom and enhance cliche on the image from EA's Twitter account, and start going, this is obviously a destroyer droid. So then their response is, as Sushi put in the chat, no, that is debris from a crashed speeder. That is not a destroyer droid. Which is basically saying, oh look, here's a picture of a duck. No sir, that is a snail. No, that's a duck. It is obviously a duck. Do not tell me this is anything other than a duck. It's like, okay, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. DuckTales woohoo. So saying that this is not a Droideka, it is a crash speeder, is a little ridiculous. But granted, it was a blurry image. Then people realized that the community manager's tweet had a picture that had a clear as day image of a Droideka. And then they started posting that. And then the EA Twitter account's like, oh, hey, look, we're sorry. There actually is a Droideka here. We apologize.
What are they trying?
And so this is the official explanation. The build of the game that was used to capture the screenshot used for that promotional image was a version of the game that contains unfinished assets that were never intended for public release. So the version of the game one of the DICE developers used to create this image of the new Clone Trooper Legions being added into the game was a build of the game that had a work-in-progress Droideka character model. There was no animation on it, there was no rigging, there was no sound effects, but just to put as a backdrop for them to use, they had a Droideka to potentially work things out and say, okay, maybe we could activate Droidekas here and see how that would change gameplay and kind of toy and mess with things. So that version of the game, that build of the game, is what they ended up using for the creation of this screenshot, and it was never intended to actually be released. So that's the official explanation. The running theory is that it's pretty clear that DICE is essentially being forced at gunpoint to do things they don't want to do involving Battlefront 2. It's like they have always wanted to do things that, it's like they wanted to do this and this to make people happy and to make themselves happy, and EA has said no, do this instead because this will make us money. And so something like this, like putting the Droideka at the bottom of the, using a different, they made this image, they blurred out the Droideka for the image that they would officially give to EA, and then they gave the community manager the image with the Droideka to tease, hey, guys, guess what? We can't talk about it. EA doesn't want us to talk about it, but Droidekas are totally coming to the game, so here's something to look over. We're going to have to give you a bunch of PR speak and kind of talk our way around it, but no, they're totally coming. Because similar things have happened, believe it or not. Back in, I want to say April, there was an update to, they added Starfighter Assault to the arcade, which is the offline mode in Battlefront 2. They added that, and in those patch notes, they mentioned that the planet Geonosis was available for arcade Starfighter Assault. Now, we had no idea, it's like, wait, hold on, is Geonosis coming to the game? This is news. Geonosis isn't in the game. Is it coming? Is it coming? And they then removed it from that post and said, no, excuse us, we were mistaken. We actually meant the planet Ryloth is going to be available for the Starfighter Assault. And then, and sure enough, that is what ended up arriving, is that, you can go to the space around Ryloth and fly your ARC-170 around a Lucre Hulk Trade Federation battleship. But putting Geonosis, the word Geonosis, in your patch notes is not a simple mistake. It's not something you just accidentally do. It's pretty, at this point, it seems pretty clear that people at DICE, at least in that instance, were trying to, oh my gosh, I just got a quad kill.
Push the payload, push the payload.
Yes. Oh! Yes! Oh! Please tell me this is play of the game. Please tell me this is play of the game.
C9.
Okay.
Might be sushi, but
I don't know. That won us the game. Yes!
Nice.
Oh, yes! Here I come, boys! I'm a hamster on a mission. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so happy.
Hamster wheel strikes again.
Yes, he does. See, that put a smile on my face. That put a smile on my face. That was fun. That was awesome. So...
And if you keep playing, you can keep on getting the smile.
Yeah, still paying $30 though. Anyway, so it seems pretty deliberate that DICE is kind of, in some ways, sabotaging themselves because honestly it does in some cases it does make them look bad. It makes them look sloppy, which DICE is not. I've been playing DICE games since 2013, which is a while. I picked up Battlefield 3 in 2013, and I immediately fell in love, and then I played Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, and then Star Wars Battlefront 2015, and then Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 1 I actually didn't like. Longer story, we'll get into that some other time, probably most likely when the, oh no, I was too slow, I couldn't get a Wrecking Ball. I'm sad, no! But anyway, so and I didn't actually like that, but that'll be something we'll probably discuss when the Battlefield 5 beta rolls around. And then, of course, I honestly do love Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017. I think it's actually very, very similar to the 5 version, and there's a lot of similarities that some people just want to completely ignore when they say, "Oh, there's nothing like the original." It's complete. I'm like, actually, no. This, and this are very, very similar. So, I don't know. So anyway, so DICE is not, and also I just want to say, DICE did not. Visceral Games were the leads in charge of Battlefield Hardline, but DICE did do some work on that game because I think if I'm not mistaken, I think DICE did give them here's all the code you need to get started, and so then that's a substantial enough. Help there that of course they needed their logo at the beginning of the game. So anyway, so DICE is not a sloppy studio by any stretch of the imagination. They are a very talented studio. So it kind of does pay. I'm of two minds of this whole they're intentionally leaking things. Is that, and it's like, doing things like putting Geonosis in the patch notes when that site, it's like if that was an honest mistake, what idiot did that? Because that is not. Because that is. For someone to be that stupid to actually put that in the patch notes long before the announcement in June, and for it not to be an intentional leak, you have to have some massive idiots on staff. Not that they have idiots on staff.
Yeah, a mistake would be accidentally spelling Ryloth like Reloth or something like that.
Yeah, there are only being two Ys in Kashyyyk. If they accidentally only put two Ys in Kashyyyk instead of three like they're supposed to be, that's a mistake. Putting Geonosis instead of Ryloth, that has to be intentional. Having the Droideka in that image has to be intentional. There is no way that they just warm up a previous build of the game that had that static model in there that they were using for testing. It's like they have to be working on that in some form, and then they put that in there to say, hey, here's something. It could be another year before we see Droidekas put into the game. It could be, but they're at least saying at this point. But that image to me says either we are intentionally leaking this. Yes, it does make us look bad because it makes us look sloppy, but we really do care about our community here. And we want you guys to be happy, so we're trying to tease stuff as much as possible, even at the risk of us looking like massive idiots and damaging on it, because it does damage their reputation to some degree, does it not? Because it makes them look sloppy.
Yeah.
It's like, but in my eyes, it's like again, I'm of two minds. It's like, well, they honestly do really, really care about the community if they actually risk their reputation like that. to make themselves look sloppy and and stuff like that. So it shows an amount of care. Oh, what? No, my tire got destroyed. I'm sad now. So and of course they had to give us the corporate fed thing of, oh, the Droidekas from a previous build of the game. It was never intended to be there. It's like that has to be intentional. And I think when all is said, oh man, it was high noon. So I think McCree got me. I think when all is said and done, years from now, there is going to be some you could write a book. And honestly, this is something that in like 10, 15 years time I would actually love to do if I end up having the capabilities to do so. I would love to interview a bunch of people from DICE, ask them about their experiences working on Battlefront 2 2017, and see if any of these theories and rumors that we, the community, have are true. About you guys are intentionally leaking this stuff because EA is really screwing you guys over here and screwing this game over, and you want to turn out the best, and you want to make the best product you can, and in doing so, you're gonna have to ruin your reputation somewhat. I mean, it's movie worthy. This is a potential movie in the making of this admittedly large studio sticking it to their corporate overlords and saying, no, we care about this community too much. I mean, I would forego my movie pass and actually go and see this movie. It's a very fascinating story, and I can't believe this is something that I'm living through right now. And it's like, really, this is where we're at right now. It's like the DICE has to intentionally leak stuff that makes them look like sloppy idiots to appease their otherwise what seems like a very toxic fan base. It's like, and that could be a whole other discussion that when more Clone Wars content comes out, I think we will be discussing, is the toxicity of the Star Wars fandom at this moment.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
ooh, yeah.
Because and we'll wait to have that discussion further when like Geonosis does come out, and we can run around as clone troopers on Geonosis and stuff and have a more Star Wars centered discussion. But it's very interesting. It's just so fascinating, and it's like, and that's it is one of the, I mean, it's also a Star Wars game, so of course I'm going to play it until the cows come home. It's like I might take a break to play Rainbow Six for a couple weeks. I might play Mafia 3 since it's free with PlayStation Plus, which great game. It's on PlayStation Plus. It's very, very M-rated, but if you're not if racism for historical accuracy's sake is not something that bothers you, I would recommend playing Mafia 3. I thought it was a great game, even if it does have some problems. It's a solid 7.5 game. So that's my mini review of Mafia 3. It's free with PlayStation Plus right now. Go pick it up if you want to. I might take some breaks, but I will always... Oh, eat that, May. I will always come back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. And that kind of... So that was kind of the... So it's a very, very long segue, but thank you, Sushi, because this is kind of a segue this is a topic I wanted to go into anyway. Is because we were kind of discussing games as a service. Rainbow Six Siege I think would be a good free game that's probably worth the money, but it'd be really great if it was free. Overwatch I think would be a good free game as a service. Of course Fortnite is a game as a service. I think another game that and I suppose games as a service doesn't actually necessarily mean that the game has to be free. It just means that you get this game, and then for a long time to come, you are still playing this game because it is constantly being updated. And I think a game that really can and could be this, and is probably on the verge of being this, is Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017. Because we may not be getting story content anytime soon, which is actually kind of a shame because we've had long discussions about the Battlefront 2 campaign before. But I feel like a grand potential for Battlefront 2 to continue on for the next 3-4 years, and DICE just slowly update it every couple months. It's like, here's something new every now and then, because I can't remember where. Someone somewhere did say that a Star Wars Battlefront 3 appears very unlikely. I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Like
curse.
officially?
Yes, officially. Someone at EA, I think it was at like an investor call or something. Or it was like, I don't know if it was one of the executives at EA or if it was a DICE employee. I can't remember who, but someone in a high-ish up position said that Battlefront 3 seems unlikely at this point. And so, but we got a Reaper flank. Never mind, I got him. But I'm actually okay with this because and I feel like one of the reasons EA is saying this is because they don't want to have another, everyone yelling at them scenario again. And it was their own dang faults. It wasn't Battlefront 2's fault. It was EA's fault because they made DICE put the stupid microtransactions in there. It's obvious. So if a Battlefront 3 is unlikely to happen, then DICE, they pretty much they're one of the reasons I like them is that they're a talented studio that make really good games, and they pretty much do essentially they do a larger version of Call of Duty every year, and they're one studio because they released because in 2015 they released Star Wars Battlefront 2015. Granted, it was a much smaller game than it probably needed to be, but again, EA rushed it out. So what are you gonna do? They released Battlefront 2015 in 2015. 2016 saw the release of Battlefield 1. 2017 saw the release of Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017. And this year, we'll see the release of Battlefield 5. That is a game every year, around the same time, for 2015, 2016, 2017, for 4 years. I don't really math on that. Anyway, so that's 4 years in a row where they have released a game every year. And DICE has never done that before. This isn't as far as it's like whenever I get into something, I always thoroughly research it, and I'm pretty sure this is new to them because they haven't always done Battlefield, but since they've been doing Battlefield, they have certainly not released a game every year for like 4 or 5 years. There was always a gap.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, like 2 years usually.
Because Battlefield 3 came out in 2011, if I'm correct,
Yeah.
and then of course Battlefield 4 came out,
correct.
and then Battlefield 4 came out in 2013, and they always turn out and the thing with this is that they always turn out a good product despite EA messing everything up every time. Because it was obvious that Battlefield 4 needed a delay because that game was completely broken at launch. I mean, it's not even funny how broken that game was. It was downright unplayable. It was, and so it needed a delay. It probably needed to wait. It probably needed to be delayed until as an arbitrary term, let's say spring of 2014. It probably needed to be delayed until then, but it did come out in 2013, and they did eventually turn that into a really good game. I would argue that Battlefield 4 is maybe the best Battlefield game. Now, I haven't played Bad Company 2, which a lot of people say is the best, so I can't speak to that. But from playing Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3... Oh, no, I went too far. Dang it. I got pushed off. Lucio pushed me off. Dang it.
Oh, didn't do another one.
I tried to save myself my grappling hook, but I fell too far. From Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4 to Hardline, which again was mostly done by Visceral, but DICE helped substantially with that. Diva's mech is down. Oh boy. And then to Battlefront 2015, which again has some issues, is kind of bare bones, but again, that's EA's fault. that's EA's fault. Although that's not a Battlefield game. And then of course Battlefield 1, which I didn't really enjoy that much. Again, topic for another time. And then of course now Battlefield 5 looks like it's going to be something I'm going to enjoy more than I did 1. Right now I've got to say that I'm fairly confident saying Battlefield 4 is their best Battlefield game. And so they eventually turned it into a good product. Despite its very, very rocky launch. Then, of course, Battlefront 2015 kind of had it had similar yet different problems. To where I will admit it had a rocky start because there just wasn't much there. And the thing is that again, I'm a bit of a hypocrite with Overwatch because I've always criticized Overwatch for just being solely multiplayer and not having a campaign. I saying that there's not enough there to actually warrant the $60. I bought Battlefront 2015 day one for $60 with no campaign, and then I paid $50 for the season pass. So I ended up spending a little over $100 on that game, and it probably has less even now, after all the DLC packs came out, it probably has less content than Overwatch does. And it's not a dead game right now, but it doesn't. But a lot of the player base, I'm pretty sure, migrated to Battlefront 2. So, yeah, I admit I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that situation. But I think even with its problems, I think it's still a decent to good game, despite EA's meddling. Whoa! Oh, dang it. Screw you, Junkrat. And then Battlefield 1 has its issues. And then Battlefront 2, despite what EA's done with it, I think the base, the core mechanics and the gameplay loop, I think is still really, really good. DICE turns out good products. And I think that the product that they have at its core could really work as a game as a service, because it's like maybe lower the price to $40, and of course they announced from the get-go, and this has remained true, is that all the DLC is free. So DLC continues to be free. So this is what I hope happens, and what I could definitely see happening. But whether it does happen is, we don't know if it will happen. Let's hope it happens, and it could happen, but we don't know if it will happen yet. So, Battlefield 5 releases this fall, in October. So we're just like a month and a half away, and I'm really getting excited for the free weekend, which I'm getting excited for the beta. I'm getting excited for the Battlefield 5 beta, but at the same time I'm not, because the beta is the exact same weekend that Spider-Man PS4 comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's annoying.
I want to be swinging around the rooftops, but at the same time I want to be in the mud of World War II. So that's annoying. But oh well. I will survive. I will find a way to persevere and play. And it's like, oh no, I have 2 video games to play. Whatever shall I do? And one of them will be free since it's just a beta. Anyway, but
I can't buy any of them.
So I'm excited about that. But so that's coming out. So Battlefield 5 is coming out in October. And then of course there's going to be content updates for that as well. It's probably, and I don't know if they've made any announcements. Loka, maybe you could back me up on this and tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I don't know if they've made any announcements, but I feel like that the Battlefield 1 DLC is probably going to go into a similar direction as Battlefront 2 2017's DLC has gone. Have you seen anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, they've ditched the premium pass finally.
I think pretty much everyone but Call of Duty is ditching it at this point.
Yeah, so that's good. And so they are stepping into the whole games as service with that, with free content updates, which, if I've understood it correctly, they are, I could be wrong, but I think they're gonna release it like as the war progresses.
Right, yeah.
Since,
That's what I thought I remembered.
The game starts with, well,
1940s.
the start of the Second World War, so that's kind of neat that that is, if I've understood it correctly. So, like for launch, we have Rotterdam and Norway,
Right.
and then like further down the road, I could see them adding like Normandy and all those.
Yeah,
stuff.
the Russian invasion of Berlin, followed by the Americans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be a pretty sweet ending, come to think of it.
Yeah, because Battlefield hasn't done this before. I feel like that would be an interesting potential for a three-way battle, because yes, the Russians and the Americans were allied in World War II, but I mean, what if it's like it's a three-way battle and it's in hardcore. So, you don't see factions. You're just like, oh, that uniform isn't green, or it's not my color green. I better shoot it. Oh, we're kind of on their side. That's awkward. But I mean, I think that could be an interesting gameplay thing they could do, but it might be difficult to implement. But anyway, sometimes what's cool isn't. Oh, incoming diva isn't always a. Sometimes what sounds cool isn't always a good idea. Oh, I just fell to my death. So. Battlefield 5 will come out. Its DLC will take a similar route to what Battlefront 2 2017 has done. And then, if what we've heard is true, no Battlefront 3 in, what would it be, 2019, next year? Yeah, so no Battlefront 3. So, where does that leave us? Where I think that leaves us is we have the potential for a very, very large and yes, spread out over time, but a large amount of content dropped for Battlefront 2 long after the fact, keeping it alive for a while, and maybe doing kind of a soft relaunch like Rainbow Six Siege did with what season did Rainbow Six Siege kind of do its soft relaunch? It was around the time I picked it up. Was it Velvet Shell?
I honestly don't remember at this point.
It was a while ago now, but I feel like it was like around the time they had that first free weekend where you, Smeedy, and I played Terrorist Hunt. And we absolutely got demolished by the stupid AI in that game. It was around that time, because that was around the time I also picked the game up. So it's been a while at this point, but Rainbow Six Siege did kind of relaunch itself, and look at it now. It is thriving. So I think Battlefront 2 could certainly do something similar. So really quick, I'll take a quick pause to say greetings, Pilakar. Yo, yo, yo. The Patreon game night ended, so what do you think about Overwatch? Well, that was basically the discussion at the top of this game night, which has now gone on for a little while. So I still don't really like it, because, and it's not. I like the gameplay now, but I think it's stupidly expensive, and that's kind of been an ongoing thing we've kind of been discussing all night. Is that it's stupidly expensive, and that's why I still don't really like it, and that's why I still won't buy it. But now, so that's kind of where I'm at now, and we've kind of been discussing that. So what we're discussing now, Peels, I know you have some opinions on this, is that we are discussing Battlefront 2 and its potential as a games as a service, as a game as a service. We discussed the whole Droideka issue a couple minutes ago, which I guess Lewis was unaware of, because you seemed pretty perplexed by that.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to Battlefront anymore.
Yeah. So now we're discussing it as a potential game as a service. So I feel like that, because we don't have. Yeah, it's what is. So I feel like since Battlefront 3 looks unlikely, and it seems like that maybe there's not going to be a Star Wars game for 2019 then. Because 2015, which again is when the next numbered episode is going to come out, and EA has been pretty much on track with having a game released alongside a numbered episode. We had Battlefront 2015 right before The Force Awakens came out. We had Battlefront 2 2017 come out right before The Last Jedi came out. Man, those two things didn't cause the fan base to go toxic at all. And then Battlefront 2 has also kind of done stuff, and Battlefront 2015 also did stuff with Rogue One, and then Battlefront 2 has done stuff with Solo and The Last Jedi. And that's the thing I'm getting to, Peel, is that you say that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is supposedly coming out in 2019, but I could very well see that game getting pushed. I think it's very likely that game could get pushed to, if it, let's say for right now that it's, because does it have an official, like it's got that, you know, vague fall 2019 date or whatever? Does it have that? I feel like it's got something like that on it right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So yeah, its official release date is scheduled for fall 2019, but I feel like that could get pushed to spring of 2020, or summer of 2020, or maybe even fall of 2020. Hopefully not fall, but I could definitely. I think spring of 2020 is a complete. Oh, they're up top. Is a completely plausible scenario for something that could happen. So, if that does happen, then we do not have a Star Wars game coming out in 2019, which means that DICE would not have any potential DLC to push on people. Oh, are we basically in Overwatch event? Cool. And so EA would not have any would not have a Star Wars game to push potential episode 9 themed DLC on. So what I think is a possibility is that Genji from behind. So what I think is very possible that could happen is that... Oh, I'm stunned. Nope. Is that Battlefront 2, it has somewhat of a content drought for a while after the release of Battlefield 5. Maybe we get some skins here and there, but we don't really see any too many major additions. And really, this could be plausible even if Fallen Order manages to make its fall 2019 date. Is that in the fall of 2019, you see kind of a soft relaunch of Battlefront 2, where, of course, they don't actually start reselling it in stores with a new package or anything, but there is a massive new content drop that comes out. Maybe with, maybe not, probably not, but hey, a guy can hope. Maybe with some story content, to continue the story that that kind of ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger in Resurrection, which was the story DLC we got, which wasn't really DLC. It was really just the rest of the game that they for some reason held off for whatever reason. So I feel like they could do a relaunch and then include a substantial, and they could include substantial additions to the game, and then instead of releasing a brand new Battlefront, which at this point I feel like the system they have for Battlefront 2 2017 works. So I mean, what really could they add to a potential Battlefront EA Battlefront 3 that could really make that much of a difference gameplay wise? And I feel like this could be the big content drop that they add into Battlefront 2 to then take it into this game as a service. And what they do is they fulfill a promise that was somewhat unfulfilled by the cancellation of the original Battlefront 3, and they do ground-to-space combat. I feel unlikely, but possible, because, I mean, and it's not impossible, because we got Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron on the PSP, which, you know, that was the only, I mean, that is Star Wars Battlefront 3. That is Star Wars Battlefront 3. It just went under a different title. Because, you know, in the last, like, 2 years, we've actually seen a lot of stuff leak from Star Wars Battlefront 3. And what Star Wars Battlefront 3 was going to be was, well, Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron. That's what it was going to be. It's just that it was, the maps were probably going to be a little bit bigger, and it was going to, and then the ground to space combat was going to be a little smoother instead of, and it wouldn't require a quick cutscene transition. It probably would have been a simultaneous load in without, you know, without needing to. You would have all been able to load without without having to hide your loading screen behind a cutscene. You know, it probably would have some minds. It probably would have had the, you know, without no loading screens or whatever for ground to space combat. The story maybe, hopefully, would have been a little more fleshed out than we saw in the PSP version. And the animations, hopefully, would have been a little better. And the acting, maybe, hopefully, would have been a little better. But, besides that, we got that in the form of... We got that. We got that in Elite Squadron. Yeah. It's just that it was a little smaller and there was a couple technical limitations, but we got it. It just wasn't on consoles, and it wasn't as large as we would have hoped it would have been. So it's entirely, so I mean, if they were able to do that in 2009 on the PSP, if they were able to fulfill that promise in 2009 on the PSP, why would they not be able to do that in 2019 on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC with the Frostbite engine? Why not? It might. I mean, they would need to sink a little bit of development time into it to make it, to be able to implement it into Battlefront 2. But they're not I mean, they wouldn't be developing a Battlefront 3, and they wouldn't be developing any other game unless they decide to create a new IP, which I don't think they would, because it's like DICE is known for Battlefield now. So I mean, why not do that? I mean, if you don't have a Star Wars game launching, and then, you know, what better way to win back some goodwill than to let DICE spend a little time working on ground to space combat and, you know, working on ground to space combat and, you know, working on some more DLC to add to to create your own game as a service. Because one of the things one of the things that kind of predicates this potentially happening is if Anthem is a flop, which I think it has the potential to be, because Anthem right now is EA's answer to Destiny, which is a game as a service and all this stuff. And I really think that, and you know, and a lot of people have been very vocal about their dislike for Destiny 2. And they're maybe looking at Anthem as a potential replacement for Destiny 2, and EA's definitely looking at it as their answer to that. But, well, to quote the end of Fanboys, what if it sucks? What if it sucks and no one and no one likes it, and it turns out to be no good? Well, what then? So if that happens, then why not take this existing game that you have, and just take a chance to maybe earn some goodwill from a very large, a very vocal, a very passionate fan base, and make some cash while doing it. Call me out if you feel like I'm being completely if I'm having delusions of grandeur, but I feel like this is all possible.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that it's possible. Whether it's likely is a bit harder to say, but it's possible.
Well, I mean, see, and a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, I might be a little more pessimistic. And I'd go, yeah, this is my crackpot theory fever dream that I hope happens, but there's no way it's going to happen. But I also used to say there is no way we are ever going to get another episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and we're getting 12 more, and potentially, and again, you know, it's like at the very least we are getting 12 more to finish the series to give us its finale, but even then, those 12 episodes aren't going to be everything that they had written. So if it does extremely well, then they may just do some more. Because I mean, and you might say, oh, that'd be weird if they ended the series, you know, with here's the actual ending, and then release more episodes after that. It's like, well, the Clone Wars isn't exactly known for releasing its episodes in chronological order. So I could see them doing their Order 66 arc where the Jedi all get murdered and Ahsoka and Rex go into hiding. Spoilers for sort of kind of spoilers for Star Wars Rebels, but not really. And then the show ends, and then we get a whole and then we get that Boba Fett Cad Bane arc if it ends up not being produced, and then we get those 4 episodes. And then maybe those wouldn't be released under the Clone Wars title. Maybe they'd be called like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and then, you know, it's like obviously it's those 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, but just released under a different title, whatever. You get the idea. So I never thought we'd be getting more Clone Wars episodes, and we're getting more Clone Wars episodes. So, and it may not be entirely up to EA at this point. They do have to answer to Lucasfilm and Disney in some regard. So if Jedi Outcast, or not out, that's an old game. Why'd I say that? Yeah. if Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order ends up missing its 2019 release, and they know about this for a long time coming. It's like, okay, it looks like we're going to have to delay this. We're hoping we don't have to, but we probably are going to have to delay this. And the fat cats at Disney say, but we were expecting video game revenue this fall. We need to get video game revenue this fall, so come up with a solution. I feel like their solution would be to make Star Wars Battlefront 2 game as a service and kind of do the relaunch and add in the ground to space combat and start churning out more content for it. It's like this is a plausible future I could see happening. So it's here on record on a live stream that will be archived. So maybe in a year and a half. Well, actually, no, not a year and a half. I guess it would just be at this point we would probably know if Outcast is not going to make its if it's not going to make its launch window. We would probably know. Let's see here, just for the fun of it, let's play someone else. Let's try out Farrah.
After this game, I think I'm gonna head off for the night.
Okay, we've been tired. Yeah, we've been playing for about 3 hours, so we can start wrapping up. We've had some good discussion. Yeah. We've been having some good play. We can start wrapping it up. But but if in a year from now, I think it will be very interesting to look back and see. It's like, I was right. I said I hope this stuff happens, and it's like, I mean, we'll see. I mean, stranger things have happened. There have been things that have happened where I've gone up. No way that's going to happen. And it's like I think that ship has sailed, and look, that stuff's happened. So okay, so she can fly. That's interesting. Oh, she only has one.
You never played Farrah?
Yeah, I thought, what the heck? Let's try her out. Because basically she's a flying tank. So.
Yeah, not much of a tank, but like in the gun sense, yeah.
But has EA ever done anything like that? No, EA hasn't ever done anything like that. But you know, when they removed the microtransactions due to the fan outcry, had they ever done anything like that? I mean, maybe the only thing you could look at that's close to that was the ending of Mass Effect 3 and BioWare patching it and putting out DLC for a quote-unquote better ending that some people enjoyed more, some people hated more, like, whatever your feelings on that are. But I feel like I wasn't really as much into gaming then as I am now, so I wasn't really around for that whole fiasco, because that was, what, 2012, I feel like. So, I don't know if that was actually EA saying that because we're getting bad press, we need you to do this, or if that was more BioWare. I feel like it was more BioWare. So I don't know. I feel like when EA went back on their microtransaction thing, I feel like something changed. They went from this, yeah, we don't care what people say, we're just going to continue doing our blatantly greedy and borderline evil company. Whoa, okay. I didn't know that was what that button did. I just soared into the air.
I mean, I guess there's the fact that they let DICE fix Battlefield 4 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just left the game in the state it was and just released the DLCs like
that's very true.
Warner Brothers did with Arkham Origins, I believe.
Arkham Knight.
No, I'm thinking specifically of Arkham Origins. I don't remember. I don't know if it really was broken, but
well, the PC.
I remember there was. Yeah, but yeah, that was for Arkham Knight on PC. But Arkham Origins had the case where the developers actually said that they wouldn't fix any of the issues because they were too busy making DLCs.
Really?
Which I feel is a Warner Brothers thing.
yeah, that would definitely be a Warner Brothers thing. You know, every now and then I queue up. You know, it's like I play. Oh, Lewis is gone. Oh well, we'll be wrapping up pretty soon anyway. Sometimes, you know, I queue up a game like last summer I played Arkham Knight, and I've got a half Let's Play. I played through about half I played through the whole game and recorded all of it, but I've only uploaded about half of it onto my channel. So I've got a half Let's Play on my channel, and it should be obvious that that Warner Brothers has gaming studios. But oh, you left the party, but you're still here? Huh. That's interesting. It should be obvious, but yeah, at the same time, it's like it surprises me when I see that WB Games logo pop up, and I'm like, oh, that's right, they have a game studio. I go to play a Lego game. Oh, WB Games, because they own TT. I completely forgot about that. Oh, he lost connection. Okay. Well, got Doomfist. So that's kind of interesting. I figured I'd be the one losing connection, not you. Huh. Yeah, so it's kind of a mini topic. This was a topic that probably would have been a little more relevant around E3, but we can go ahead and discuss it just slightly here. And it's not really something that we can go too in depth on. But what do we think Rocksteady is actually working on now? Because the last game they released was Batman Arkham Knight in 2015, and then they've essentially been radio silent ever since. So it's been a while since they've released a game. So what do you think they could be working on? Do you think it's another Batman game? There's all these rumors that it's a potential Superman game. So what do you think?
It wouldn't surprise me if they were working on a Superman game, because I think in Arkham Knight there are like little bits of dialogue that references Superman and Metropolis. So
yes, there's a you can go to Wayne Tower, and I know this because I played the game. You can go to Wayne Tower, and in Wayne Tower you can go into Bruce Wayne's office, and in Bruce Wayne's office there is a phone, and then you can press a button to listen to the voicemails. And there's like somewhere between 6 and 10 different voicemails you can listen to. One of them, the first three are from like three different love interests of Bruce Wayne from the comics or associated media. Because like the first one's from like Vicky Vale from the '89 Batman movie. There's like two others. One's like a random model or something that would be someone Bruce Wayne would date, etc., etc. And then there's one from Lex Luthor, and of course, and he name drops Metropolis because Lex Luthor's trying to buy Lex Luthor being Lex one maybe Huntress, and Lex Luthor is trying to buy Wayne Enterprises. Don't know what his plans are for Wayne Enterprises, but he is trying to buy Wayne Enterprises, so that could be their potential kind of lead into a Superman game because Lex Luthor's there, and then there's another call from someone who I can't remember, and then the last two are my favorite because the last one they aren't actually real because throughout the entire game the Joker is in Batman's head taunting him as kind of this ghost thing, but he's only in Batman's head, so he's not an actual ghost. He's just kind of like messing with his mind because he's had that much an effect on Batman and other story reasons. So the last two voicemails are the Joker, in air quotes, pretending to be Bruce's parents, who are of course long dead. It's like the first one, you know, it's obviously Joker, but he's putting on a deep voice, but he's obviously still the Joker, and he's like, it's your father, and it's like, we need to talk about, you know, your little bat problem, and then it's like, please give me a call, and then it's pretty much contained, and then the voicemail goes off, and then the last one comes up, and it's the Joker putting on a more high-pitched voice. It's like, Brucey, it's your mother. And then he can't even get past that, and the Joker just bursts into laughter, and he does his whole big Joker laugh, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't help myself. It's just so funny, because they're dead." And then if you hit the voicemail button again, then it goes back to the very first one from Vicky Vale. So that part actually did make it up on to YouTube. That's, if I'm remembering the episode name correctly, the name of the episode is I'm avoiding my problems by running into the night. That's the name of the episode because the beginning of that episode was listening to the voicemails, and then I go jump off the building because I don't want to listen to any more voicemails. So anyway, that was that. So I think a Superman game from them could be possible. I would also and this is a theory some people have put out, is that it could be possible that they are working on another Batman game, but they're working on a Batman Beyond game where, you play as Terry McGinnis in Gotham's future and 2000 whatever, where it's all the futuristic-y stuff, and then Batman, then of course spoilers for a game that came out in 2015. Of course, at the end of Batman Arkham Knight, when you complete it all the way, Batman does supposedly die because his mansion blows up, but of course he's Batman, and he's the one that made his mansion explode because everyone knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. So it's like, well, I gotta kill myself now because then anyone who is associated with me will now be in danger because secret identity stuff. So then he in air quotes supposedly kills himself by blowing up Wayne Manor, but I mean, he's Batman. He's not actually going to kill himself by blowing. He's just going to make it look like he's dead because he's Batman. So I would personally prefer a Batman Beyond game because and this would be an interesting topic to have sometime, maybe when we play a more casual game or a game that's more themed for it. But I'm not a big fan of DC. I don't really like DC at all. I think, people have been going, oh, why do DC movies suck all of a sudden? I'm like, well, they're not Batman movies. That's why they suck, because DC's characters suck, except for Batman characters. Like, Batman is awesome. The Joker is awesome. Robin is awesome. It's like all these, you go down the list of all these Batman characters. These Batman characters are awesome, but Superman, it's so easy to write Superman wrong. I mean, just look at Man of Steel. I mean, it's so easy to get those characters wrong. I mean, even so let's see. I'm it seemed like the first season of The Flash, the TV show, was good, but I've been seeing a lot of conflicting things ever since. My roommate freshman year of college, he was actually a big fan of The Flash, and he thought it was good which gosh, that was 2 years ago. So whatever season they're on now, that was 2 seasons before. So it seems like the Flash may be dipping in quality. It seems like the whole Arrowverse is kind of in trouble quality wise. So okay, so you did just mean the character, not the. Yeah, I thought the show had gone downhill, but well, I mean. If the show's gone downhill, then maybe it's because they've really done all they can with that character, and they're just kind of just running in circles because the show, get it, running in circles because he's the Flash, and they're just kind of doing whatever now because it's like they've run out of ideas, and that's why the show's gone downhill because there's only so much you can do with that character. It's like Batman and his associated rogues gallery, and it's like there's so much potential there. It's like I love Batman to death. I mean, I think as much as I do love Marvel, The Dark Knight is hands down the best comic book movie ever made. And maybe it's because it's a comic book movie, but it feels like an actual movie, quote unquote. Even though it's like comic book movies are real movies. It's like, I mean. When was the last time you saw people really flocking to theaters to? It's like if the MCU can actually get people to go to movie theaters and care about movies, then you're doing something right. It's not just a comic book movie. You're actually creating quality entertainment. You have to be. So anyway, not a big fan of DC. I think that's the reason they're kind of having problems in the movie department is because there's only a select few who could probably write these characters well enough to make them interesting, and they obviously don't have those people in charge, because then you get stuff like Batman vs. Superman and Justice League and Wonder Woman, which is actually just kind of a mediocre film, but it's leagues ahead of it's so many leagues ahead of of the others that it seems like it's this groundbreaking. Well, I mean, I suppose actually. Wonder Woman being the first mainstream female-driven superhero film, with the exception of the 2004 Catwoman movie. Yes, in that sense, it is groundbreaking, but it's not actually the best movie. So
yeah, that's the only DC, the only recent DC movie I've seen, and if that is supposed to be the best of those movies, and I think it was all right. Then I can't imagine how bad the other movies are.
I have seen Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad. I had no intentions of seeing any of them, but then the San Diego Comic-Con 2015 trailers for both BVS and Suicide Squad leaked, and they were good. So I'm like, oh, I'm interested in seeing these movies now. So after the second trailer for BVS came out, I knew it was going to be a train wreck of a movie, but there's something fascinating about watching a train wreck unfold. You want to look away, but you can't. So I went ahead and I went and saw it. And man, that movie ended, and everyone walked out of that theater. It was like a funeral. It was like the funeral. It was like the funeral of a family member who had lived a life, but they got cancer and they died well before they should have. And it was kind of sudden, and everyone's just kind of bitter that it had to happen that way. It's like, why are we here? We shouldn't be here. This is so unfair. Why? It's like it was that kind of atmosphere as people walked out of Batman vs. Superman when I went to see it. My dad actually my dad went in neutral to that movie. Because at the time I could not drive, so I said, hey, does anyone want to go see Batman vs. Superman with me? He's like, okay, whatever, I could go see a movie. That was his mentality going into Batman vs. Superman. It's like, I could see a movie. And he walked out furious. So that tells you the state of Batman vs. Superman quality-wise. And then I, to this day, I will say that the marketing for Suicide Squad is some of the best marketing any film has ever done, because it tricked me into thinking it was gonna be good, and that movie was garbage. Actually, I think it tricked almost everyone, because the reviews started coming out, and it's like, oh, well, maybe the critics just don't get it, and then you go to see the movie, it's like, no, this is just a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Because the trailers were so good. It's like, and it's funny in hindsight. It's funny at the time everyone's going. Another thing I really like about this trailer is that it doesn't give away any of the plot at all. We don't know what this movie's about. Well, that's because the movie doesn't know what the movie's about. That's so. So I applaud the people in the marketing department, because there's like, okay, basically we've got the license to the license to Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen, and a bunch of footage of Harley Quinn beating up some goo monsters and stuff like that. So maybe the directors don't get it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So
let's
just see if we can make a good trailer here. And then they did an outstanding job. So much of an outstanding job that they were then brought in to help edit the movie, which then further made it a mess, because being able to edit a trailer and actually edit a coherent film is another problem. So not that not that they had much to work with. So, and then after that, I have stayed away from DC, and I have sworn never to go see another DC movie again unless it is a solo Batman film like Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman, if that movie ever ends up happening, because I always want to call him George Clooney, but I know that's not right, because it looks like Ben Affleck may not be Batman, so they might end up stalling that movie and spinning their wheels for a while, and it takes forever to make, and maybe it never even happens. So I would go see that if it ends up happening, because again, I'm a sucker for Batman, and I'm going to wait for other trailers, but at this point I am optimistic for Shazam. That Comic-Con trailer came out, and I'm like, okay, that looks fun. That looks fun, and there could be some good here.
Yeah.
Because TTV did a TTV episode where they talked about Comic-Con, and VAR was expressing a slight concern, where it's like, I feel like maybe there could be a problem where, like some Marvel movies where the villain could just be generic, and then when he said that, I kind of had a light bulb moment, just based on the tone of the trailer, where what if the villain of Shazam is generic, but then they play with that, and they actually go out of their way to make him generic, and they do stuff where it's like, if he's going, it's like, let me think, a generic villain, Apocalypse from X-Men Apocalypse. He's giving a whole, everything they've built will fall. He's going through his whole epic monologue speech, and then the camera cuts away. You could hear him giving the speech in the background, but it's focusing on Shazam as he's tied up or whatever, and he's just and he starts talking over the monologue. He's like, hey, so are you going to help me break out of the ropes, or or do I have to do this myself, and stuff like that, where they could totally play with the idea of he's a generic villain, and make good comedy out of that. So I think that could be interesting. I actually kind of hope they go that direction. But even then, I feel like I saw something, and this could have been a joke, but this may further support my theory that they're playing the villain up as a joke, and he's just kind of generic. In that, it seemed like, when the trailer came out, everyone was going, "Oh, this one actor is playing the villain," but no, it's actually an actor who's playing the actor who's playing the villain in the film.
Wait, what?
So they got an actor, and he's playing a fictional version of a real actor. And then the actor in this film has been hired by someone to act like a villain. So let's. I'm trying. I can't because I can't remember the two actors' names and who they. But okay, so I don't know if you've noticed, but people often confuse Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon for the same person. That they look similar. So it would be like if Mark Wahlberg was hired to play Matt Damon in a film, and he's actually playing Matt Damon the person, and then Matt Damon in that film was working on a movie. So that's kind of what's going on. I don't know. So that's what's happening in Shazam. So except it's not Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg. So I can't remember what their names are, but I feel like I saw somewhere that's what's happening. So that could be interesting. So we've been going for now 3 hours officially. I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there at the end, but that tends to happen sometimes. That's okay. We can do that. We're here to have a fun, good time. So that pretty much ends this Overwatch stream. As I was kind of going on about earlier, I surprisingly enjoyed myself. I mean, what do you guys have fun?
Yeah, it was fun. But Overwatch is fun playing with a group in a group.
Right, because I mean we get to have discussions like this and banter and laugh and stuff. So, Lewis, are you still in chat? Waiting. Okay, I'm going to say he's not in chat anymore. So I hope Lewis had fun. It seems like he had fun. We had some fun discussion. Sushi was able to join us for a little bit. So thank you for joining us, Sushi. It was fun having you. And thank you to everyone who showed up anytime during the stream. And thank you to those who are watching this later in the archived long after we have recorded this. So if a year from now, in the year 2019, if you're watching this and you are freaking out over the fact that I was able to correctly predict the idea that ground space combat was going to come to Battlefront 2 and that Jedi Fallen Order was going to get delayed and that's what caused it to happen, then I am magic. I am magic that I was able to predict that. And you're welcome for the mind blownness. I'm glad I could be of some entertainment there. So that's gonna pretty much end it for us. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Your typical YouTube stuff. You can find all of our highlights, highlight reels, and archive streams in the TTV fan PSN community playlist here on my channel. And that'll be pretty much it. I'm Prentice1215 with Loca-Cola, Sushi Yoda, and Lewis. And thank you all for watching. Good night.